Chapter 1. In the 9 prefectures, there were many experts. In the 9 prefectures, humans practiced qi and fought for life and death. Experts could cover the sky with a flick of their fingers and shatter the void. Mortals practiced body tempering and had thousands of kilograms of strength. Outside of the 9 prefectures, there was the 1,000 realms, vast and mysterious. In the Shenwu sect of the spirit state, the wasteland. In the training field, thousands of martial artists were practicing. As their fists and feet collided, the energy swept across, stirring up strong winds and tearing the air. There was a martial arts field that attracted the attention of many disciples. Lin Shun, who was knocked to the ground, felt numb all over. His eyes rolled back and his body twitched. He opened his mouth and spat out a cloud of white smoke. "How dare you touch Brother Liao, Jianhua's woman? You don't know what's good for you. Is Miss Qing or someone trash like you can think about?" The burly man on the stage flicked his fingernails and sneered disdainfully. "Beep, the host has successfully transmigrated. Loading Heavenly Path Attribute Collecting System 2% for percent." When the cold electronic voice sounded, Lin Chen's consciousness was awakened. What is going on? There was a tearing pain in his chest. There was blood everywhere, and a few of his ribs were broken. When Lin Chen opened his eyes, suddenly, a large amount of memories appeared in his mind. It was as if he was enlightened. In the 9 prefectures, human qi refinement, Shenwu sect, outer sect, disciple Lin Chen. Body tempering realm, qi refinement realm, spirit detecting realm, combat soul realm, earth shattering realm. This is a fantasy world. I actually transmigrated. In a short while, Lin Chen finished integrating the memories that appeared in his mind. The original owner of the body that he transmigrated into was an outer sect disciple of the Shenwu sect. They had the same name and surname, Lin Chen. Lin Chen and Su Qing, the steward's daughter who adopted him, were childhood sweethearts. After the two became partners, they entered the outer sect of the Shenwu sect together. However, in less than a year after entering the sect, Su Qing's beauty was outstanding, and she gradually distanced herself from Lin Chen. She took the initiative to approach the Shenwu sect's intersect elite disciple, Liao Jianhua. In the end, she did not hesitate to flatter and become his concubine just to be his woman. Liao Jianhua was a direct disciple of the Shenwu sect. His status was even higher than ordinary inner sect disciples, and his future was limitless. With his status and methods, killing Lin Chen was as easy as killing an ant. When the hot-blooded Lin Chen came to seek justice, he was stopped by the outer sect disciples by Liao Jianhua's side. They wanted to use the martial arts competition as an opportunity to severely injure and kill Lin Chen. "Brother, are you still going to be a bootlicker after being cheated on? A bootlicker would end up with nothing in the end. Forget it, since you and I are both called Lin Chen, and I have transmigrated into your body. I will avenge you." Lin Chen, who had completely sorted out his memories, had a cold sneer on his pale and young face. This brat doesn't seem to be dead yet." The spectating disciples outside the arena saw that Lin Chen still had some reaction and curiously muttered among themselves. Ignoring the surrounding gazes, Lin Chen suddenly discovered that there were some sparkling balls of light scattered under the feet of the surrounding outer sect disciples. These light balls were blue, red, green, and some were the size of an egg, while others were the size of a thumb. The colors were all different, but most of the attribute light balls were scattered outside the arena where the outer sect disciples were fighting. Every time the disciples on the arena fought, there would be an indefinite number of attribute light balls of different colors that would drop. "What are these things?" Lin Chen curiously grabbed the 3 red light balls beside him. The light trembled and immediately merged into his body. A comfortable and soft warmth flowed through his chest. Lin Chen's injuries had miraculously healed. As his injuries healed, a screen popped up in front of Lin Chen's eyes. Received 7 points of qi and blood energy. Injuries healed. Heavenly Way Attribute Collecting System has been loaded. This system was built by the King of Standalone Machines. Friendly reminder from the King of Standalone Machines. Acting tough feels good for a while. Acting tough feels good all the time. Host, Lin Shun. Cultivation level, body tempering stage 3rd level. Maximum strength, 4,000 kg, approximately 1 tiger force. Chi and blood energy, 7 points. Cultivation method essence, 0 points. Spiritual power, 0 points. Mental cultivation method, none. Battle skills, none. Elemental essence, 0 points. The red light balls I picked up just now can actually heal my injuries and even increase the strength of my body. Lin Chen's eyes lit up. Like a carp jumping up, he immediately stood up and grabbed the green and white light balls beside him. Host has received the complete intermediate yellow rank movement skill. Breeze Dust Steps Host has received 25 points of cultivation method essence. Cultivation method essence can be used to cultivate battle skills or mental cultivation methods. The 2 system screens that popped up in succession made Lin Chen even more excited. He completely ignored the shocked and doubtful gazes of the people around him and randomly picked up the light balls on the ground. Through the reactions of the others, Lin Chen knew that only he could see these magical light balls. Host has received 23 points of chi and blood, automatically absorbing and tempering the body. Host has received 28 points of cultivation method essence. Host has received 25 points of fire element essence. Host has received advanced yellow rank movement skill. Wind-splitting kick, seeing Lin Chen bend over and randomly pick up the light balls like a madman. The naked brawny man on the stage narrowed his eyes, revealing his killing intent. The order he received this time was to kill Lin Chen. With the identity of the master behind him, killing an outer sect disciple was a small matter. Lin Chen, since you're fine, then let us continue fighting. The naked brawny man suddenly attacked. His fist was like a giant hammer that could split mountains, angrily smashing towards Lin Chen's back. The power of the fist caused the air to collapse and the air to explode. Rip! Lin Chen suddenly turned around, his leg like a whip, violently kicking the brawny man's arm. One kick fractured the man's elbow. Everyone clearly heard the crisp sound of the brawny man's bone breaking, and the spectating disciples shuddered. It can't be. The strength of Lin Chen's kick seems to be above 3 tiger strength. I remember he's only at the 3rd level of body tempering stage. Where did he get such a strong physical strength? A few disciples sucked in a breath of cold air. Tiger strength was the unit of measurement for body tempering stage. 1 tiger strength was equivalent to 4,500 kilograms, equivalent to the strength of a ferocious tiger. 3 tiger strength could only be achieved by those at the 5th level of body tempering stage and above. When the kick broke the brawny man's elbow, 2 red light balls fell from the brawny man's elbow, which were caught by Lin Chen and absorbed into his body. Host has received 100 points of chi and blood. Oh, the attribute balls dropped from beating people up bring even higher values. Lin Chen licked his lips. After absorbing the 100 points of chi and blood, his strength increased by a few thousand kilograms. He had reached the 5th level of body tempering stage. Shuehu, I haven't settled the score with you yet, and you're here to seek death. Lin Chen stretched his body a little, and the sound of his bones crackling and popping could be heard, causing a wave of heat to explode out. He revealed a trace of killing intent towards Shuehu and coldly smiled. Shuehu's body trembled, and he felt as if he was facing a ferocious beast in human form. F***CK. Could it be that this brat was still hiding his strength? Shuehu cursed inwardly as he saw a shockwave coming from Lin Chen's position. Lin Chen's entire body was like a swift cheetah as he pounced straight at Shuehu. Raising his hand into a fist, he gathered his strength and punched out. The powerful fist wind smashed towards Shuehu's face, and his strength actually exceeded 4 tiger strength. The domineering fist wind caused Shuehu to panic, and he waved his only remaining arm to barely block it. He retreated several steps, but he was still forced back by Lin Chen's relentless attacks. Every time a fist landed, A colorful attribute ball would drop, and Lin Shun would receive them all. System, I want to learn Wind Rending Kick. Consuming 120 skill essence, learning Wind Rending Kick for host. A brand new memory appeared in Lin Chen's mind, and he practically mastered it in a flash. He circulated all the qi in his body, and his leg turned into a knife-like kick, causing a whistling sound to ring out. Pung! A thunderous explosion rang out, and the strength of Lin Chen's kick soared to 8 tiger strength, shattering Xuehu's sternum. Xuehu's figure was like an arrow released from a bow as he flew back more than 10 meters and died on the spot. After killing Xuehu, Lin Chen's heart was brimming with excitement and satisfaction. His soul and the original Lin Chen's body had completely merged. Gratification and vengeance were the essence of this world. And this was the first time Lin Chen had killed someone. So other than feeling satisfied, he didn't have any other emotions. In this world, if your methods weren't ruthless enough and weren't sharp enough, you would only be killed. The dead Xuehu dropped more than 10 attribute balls, and Lin Chen strode forward to pick them all up. The 5th level body tempering stage, Xuehu actually died. That move just now seemed to be Wind Rending Kick, right? His strength has already reached 8 tiger strength. But he also provoked Liao Jianhua, so he's definitely going to die. Some of the spectating disciples retreated, not daring to get close to Lin Chen, who was showing his killing intent. Lin Chen held a large pile of attribute balls in his hands and continuously absorbed them, causing his strength and cultivation to skyrocket. Host has received 80 points of qi and blood. Absorbing. Host has received 40 skill essence. Host has received 37 points of fire essence. Host has received yellow rank battle skill Starfire Spear Art. Seeing Lin Chen madly scratching the ground of the training field, his body tempering stage was actually getting stronger. Seeing that he was about to break through to the 6th level of the body tempering stage, countless outer sect disciples were dumbstruck, and their scalps went numb. It was as if they had seen a ghost. What kind of F** king cultivation method was this? They had heard of people breaking through sudden enlightenment, absorbing treasures, and self-mutilating cultivation methods. But they had never seen anyone breaking through just madly scratching the air. Chapter 2. None of the disciples could understand what was going on. Lin Chen ignored the shocked gazes around him. Because Lin Chen had offended Liao Jianhua, no one dared to approach him. Lin Chen kept picking up all sorts of attribute light balls in the outer sects training grounds. Host, Lin Chen cultivation, body tempering stage, 8 maximum strength, 22 tiger strength blood qi, 782 points cultivation method essence, 491 points. Mental power, 0 points mental cultivation method, none combat skills. Windrun kick, breezy, step combat skills. Starfire spear fire chi. 185 points water, metal, wood, earth energy. None. Seeing the string of rich values, Lin Chen couldn't help but laugh maniacally. Awesome. It was simply too awesome. You're still so arrogant after killing someone. You have guts, but those who offended Brother Jianhua will not have a good ending. You'll die here today. Under the setting sun, the training grounds on the mountainside of the Celestial Martial Sect was dyed red. 2 men in green robes walked out from the training grounds. Every step they took was like a fierce tiger, releasing a violent killing intent. The 2 of them surrounded Lin Chen from both sides. Their true identities caused many disciples to exclaim in shock. It's Yu Lung and Xia Fei from the top 100 outer sect disciples. The 2 men's body tempering stage 8 cultivation had reached 18 or 19 tiger strength. They could capture leopards and tear tigers apart with their bare hands, and their fists could split mountains. This kid has some tricks up his sleeve. Even I can't tell how deep he is. No wonder people said that Xuehu died in his hands. Seems like it's true. Let's attack together. Don't make Junior Su Qinger angry. The man with sharp eyebrows, Yulong, said. Xia Fei bent over like a fierce leopard about to pounce on its prey. Lin Chen's flesh shell was already at the 8th level of the body tempering stage. Martial artists of the same level might not be able to see through his true strength. You think you can win with just 2 people? Lin Chen shook his head and laughed. He took a light step forward, leaving behind an afterimage. What a fast speed! Could it be that this kid can still cultivate a combat skill in the body tempering stage? Yu Lung exclaimed at his heart. Just as he was about to defend himself, Lin Chen suddenly lunged at Xia Fei. Fei, be careful. This brat is going for you. Yu Lung growled. Xia Fei's ruthless face had a hint of disdain and mockery. You're overestimating yourself. Do you think you can be so arrogant just because you have some speed? Xia Fei's palm bent like an eagle's claw, exuding a surge of blood energy as it shot out like a bolt of lightning. Blood eagle claw, bang! Fist and claw clashed. Lin Chen's fist was scratched a few times, but the powerful shockwave still forced Lin Chen to take several steps back. 2 red orbs of light fell out, which Lin Chen quietly caught. Both sides seemed to be evenly matched. The host has received 83 points of vitality energy. Lin Chen was excited, but Xia Fei was shocked. This rascal's strength had already reached 22 tiger strength, and he was able to go head-to-head with him without using any combat techniques. Whoosh! When Lin Chen's retreating figure stabilized, he changed his movement technique again. His figure was like a blade of the wind. His speed was twice as fast as before. What? You can still be faster. Before he could finish his sentence, Lin Chen's windrend kick swept across, snapping his neck and causing him to die on the spot with his eyes wide open. 2 moves. In just 2 moves, a top 100 outer sect elite disciple of the Shenwu sect had died in the hands of Lin Chen. This scene shocked all the outer sect disciples who were still in the training grounds. If Lin Chen's victory over Shui, who was just him hiding his true strength, then killing Xia Fei in 2 moves was truly insane. Lin Chen was only 16 years old, while Xia Fei had only managed to climb into the top 100 outer sect disciples when he was 20 years old. This was no longer something that could be achieved by relying on the resources of a lower-level outer sect disciple. Innate talent was also indispensable. Aside from the 4 different colored orbs of light above Xia Fei's corpse, there was also a purple orb of light. Inside the orb of light was a light purple wooden chest. Without hesitation, Lin Chen grabbed it. Host has obtained a purple wood treasure chest. Not bothering to look at the treasure chest contents, Lin Chen's figure turned into a hurricane. His footsteps were like a gentle breeze, light and fast as he headed in Yu Lung's direction. Killing 1 was still killing. Killing 2 was still killing. Since the enemy didn't let him go, why should he show mercy to others? A murderous and domineering aura rolled out as Lin Chen turned around. He was unstoppable like a coiling dragon emerging. D*MN, this rascal hid his strength well. Yours truly is no match for him. Having seen Lin Chen's speed, Yu Lung was so scared that he broke out in a cold sweat. He was still a top 100 outer sect disciple, so he didn't flee immediately, but instead waited for the right moment. Starfall. With the strength of 19 tigers, his fist was like a falling meteor, colliding head-on with Lin Chen's wind-splitting kick. Boom! The shockwave from the collision was like an explosion. 100-meter-wide gust of wind was stirred up, and faint cracks appeared on the ground. An arm flew out with blood and fell to the ground. Lin Chen retreated a few steps. When he regained his footing, Yu Lung was already hugging his broken arm and using the momentum of Lin Chen's attack to escape. He ran away, huh? But it's okay. I've gained enough today. There's still plenty of time in the future. In less than a month, I'll personally fight my way back to the Shenwu sect. I'll destroy that bastard Liao Jianhua. Looking around the scene, Lin Chen picked up the 2 egg-sized red attribute light balls under the severed arm, as well as the other green wooden treasure chest that dropped from the corpse. Then he sprinted away. No one dared to stop Lin Chen as he left the training field on the mountainside alone. The fact that he killed 2 outer sect disciples would definitely be exposed. If Liao Jianhua found out, he could kill him with just a word. Right now, staying in the Shenwu sect was not a wise choice. Lin Shen had to choose a faster and more extreme route to become stronger. The Shenwu sect was located within the Qingxia Mountains. As long as he entered the mountains, no one would be able to find him. Nighttime, Qingxia Mountains, Red Peak Forest. Lin Shen sat cross-legged on the trunk of an ancient pine tree. He communicated with the system and opened the purple wood treasure chest that he had obtained earlier. Purple wood treasure chest opened. Congratulations to the host for obtaining a rank 1 low-grade weapon. Silver line, swimming dragon spear. A shining silver spear fell in front of Lin Shen. It was more than 5 feet long, and the silver lines on the spear were carved like swimming dragons. The tip of the spear had 2 sharp points, giving off a faint cold light. Silver line, swimming dragon spear? Perfect. System, I want to learn the Starfire spear art. Host is learning the top yellow battle skill Starfire spear art, consuming 230 ability essence and 70 fire energy. In less than 10 breaths, Lin Shen successfully learned the Starfire spear art. He played with the silver line swimming dragon spear with one hand. Lin Shen absorbed more than 1,000 points of blood energy and officially entered the 9th stage of the body tempering realm. His maximum strength reached 40 tiger strength. 1 tiger strength was equivalent to 4,500 kilograms of strength, which was equivalent to 5 tons of strength. If this was on Earth, 40 tiger strength would be equivalent to 180 tons of strength. Lin Shen could sink a small ship with a few punches. This was a monster-level strength. However, in the world of the 9 provinces, everything seemed to have become exceptionally tough. Even a piece of blue flower stone required a ton of strength to break it open. Thus, this 40 tiger strength was not something Lin Shen could be proud of. 40 tiger strength should theoretically be equivalent to the 9th stage of the body tempering realm. But I'm still stuck at the 8th stage. Could this be what the ancient books meant by the stronger the foundation? Lin Shen sized himself up, then connected to the system and opened another blue wood treasure chest. Opening the blue wood treasure chest. Host has received the semi-finished treasured weapon Windwalk shoes. Movement speed increase by 30%. Only suitable for those below the 5th stage of the Qi refinement realm. A pair of exquisite blue patterned leather shoes appeared in front of Lin Shen. When he saw the effect, his eyes immediately lit up. With the Windwalk shoes in hand, he had an extra layer of protection in this dangerous mountain range. In the body tempering realm, almost no one could catch his movements. There are many vicious beasts in the Blue Dawn mountain range. Danger and opportunity coexist. If I encounter 2 Class 2 vicious beasts, I'm done for. Wearing the Windwalk shoes, Lin Shen squinted his eyes. 100 meters away, a dark red ball of light flashed on a slope. Carrying the silver line swimming dragon spear, Lin Shen jumped down from the tree. He jumped over and carefully bent down to pick up the dark red ball of light. Host has received 80 vicious beast blood energy. This dark red ball of light was dropped by a vicious beast. Lin Shen looked around and found that there were still quite a number of these dark red balls of light. Other than that, there were many more attribute light balls scattered around. He was overjoyed and picked them up along the way. There were many more attribute light balls than the ones in the Shenwu sect sparring field. 65 vitality energy, 15 cultivation method soul essence, 50 wood energy, 30 fire energy. Lin Shen picked up the dark red balls of light along the way. Just as he reached the Red Peak Forest, Lin Shen picked up 17 dark red balls of light and received 970 blood energy. He followed the final direction of the dark red balls of light and found a mysterious cave under the cliff. The cave was overgrown with weeds and emitted the stench of rotting corpses. Normal people would not find this place at all. If Lin Shen did not see the light of the attribute light balls, he would not have been able to see the entrance of this strange cave. The cave emitted an ancient and ferocious aura, as if an ancient beast was lurking inside. The most important thing was that Lin Shen could see a strong and bright green light inside. This light was exactly the same as the attribute light balls he picked up earlier, but the brightness was more than 10 times stronger. There was a treasure inside. Almost instinctively, Lin Chun rubbed his hands excitedly. Chapter 3. Even though the cave was emitting a terrifying aura, Lin Chun did not intend to give up so easily. His intuition told him that the opportunity hidden in the cave was unimaginable. With a flip of his palm, Lin Chun clenched a few pieces of gravel. With a burst of energy, he suddenly threw them into the dark cave. The gravel shot into the cave, but there was no reaction. Could it be that the beasts inside have all left? Lin Chen's eyes lit up as he carefully approached the cave. Walking into the cave, it was as if there was another world inside. Curtains of water flowed around the cave, forming a lair. And the green light that Lin Chen saw was behind the water curtain. After entering the water curtain, Lin Chen discovered a ball of light the size of a goose egg. It was a ball of green elemental light that was rotating all over. Inside the ball of light, there was a faintly discernible green shadow in the shape of a dragon. Picking up the green ball of light, a screen popped up in front of Lin Chen's eyes. Congratulations to the host for obtaining 10 points of ancient green dragon bloodline energy. Green dragon bloodline? Lin Chen's mouth opened slightly. The green ball of light trembled and merged into his left arm. A faint green scale pattern appeared on Lin Chen's left arm. Boom! A monstrous and domineering aura, like the roar of a primordial beast, spread out from Lin Chen's left arm. He could feel that the qi and blood power in his left arm had increased by a large margin. This green dragon bloodline can actually increase my strength temporarily? Lin Chen was delighted. As long as he activated a trace of the green dragon bloodline in his arm, there would be endless power surging out. Boom! Before he could feel the new power, a violent vibration came from the outside. Lin Chen was shocked. Could it be that the owner of this lair had returned? Using breeze step, Lin Chen rushed out of the cave. The aftershock of the battle came from the lake outside the Red Peak Forest. Let's go take a look. Squinting his eyes, Lin Chen's body was like the wind. In a few flashes, he was 100 meters away. Red Peak Forest, Silent Lake. A giant venomous snake with a single green horn on its head was engaged in an intense battle with 7 human figures. Shock waves exploded, causing ripples to appear on the surface of the lake. The saber light flashed, and the sharp saber light slashed on the surface of the scales of the Green Clam King. Green blood spurted out, and the Green Clam King roared in pain. Its thick and strong tail swept across the area. Not good. Junior sistering, be careful. The young man in white who was fighting against Qing Fu exclaimed in shock. Suddenly, Qing Fu exploded and attacked another woman at an extremely fast speed. The latter was caught off guard. Her beautiful eyes trembled as she saw Qing Fu's huge tail coming at her. It was as if she could already foresee the scene of her death. Whoosh! When the giant tail slammed down, the other people's faces turned pale, but when they didn't notice the bloody scene, they were stunned for a moment. Yu Ying's delicate body trembled slightly. She, who had closed her eyes and was waiting for death, suddenly found herself being embraced by a pair of strong arms. The masculine aura of a man assaulted her. When he opened his eyes, he saw a young man dressed in a green robe. He still had a childish air about him, and there was a confident smile on his face. "Little sister, are you okay?" Lin Chun smiled casually. The 2 blue attribute light balls that he had picked up earlier were quietly absorbed by him. Host received 150 points of water essence, 80 points of battle chi essence. Thank you. What's your name? Are you an outer sect disciple? When Lin Chun put Ewing down, she blushed slightly. However, when she saw Lin Chen's clothes, she was shocked. Even the top 10 outer sect disciples that she knew might not be able to display such speed. Senior sister, let's take care of the enemy in front of us first. Lin Chen smiled casually and turned to look at the big guy in the lake. This 10-meter-tall Green Clam King should be the owner of the cave that he had found earlier, Mo Qing Fu. This kind of ferocious beast contained an extremely faint trace of the ancient green dragon's bloodline. It was far superior to other ferocious beasts of the same level. A mere rank 1 ferocious beast was able to fight against 7 inner sect disciples who were in the Qi refinement realm. This kid is from the outer sect? That speed just now was quite interesting. A brawny man in black armor glanced at Lin Shun and clicked his tongue in wonder. The young man in white was burning with jealousy. However, he could not hide the shock in his eyes. Could this be a dark horse that was not in the top 10 outer sect disciples? His speed just now had obviously reached the Qi refinement realm. Now is not the time to be distracted. This big guy is enraged. Another valiant short-haired girl scolded coldly. The saber in her hand slashed out a 3-meter-long, snow-white battle Qi saber ray. The rest of them immediately focused and attacked again, ignoring Lin Shun. Junior brother, this Mo Qing Fu is ferocious and overbearing. Back off now. Yuing stood with her sword and blocked Lin Shun with her slender body. Even though his speed was outstanding, she still did not think that Lin Shun could join their fight. Lin Shun laughed and shook his head. He tactfully retreated to the side. He naturally knew that the 7 of them were the inner sect disciples of the Shenwu sect. However, this Mo Qing Fu was not easy to deal with. This kind of ferocious beast had the bloodline of an ancient mutated beast. It had a certain level of intelligence and would not easily take risks. Since it dared to fight with the 7 of them, it meant that it was not afraid of their strength. The surroundings were filled with attribute light balls left behind by the 7 inner sect disciples. It would be a waste not to pick them up. Blood Qi 150 points, Battle Qi 120 points, Water Element 155 points, Cultivation Soul Essence 142 points, Mental Power 12 points. The quality of the attribute light balls was extremely high. There was even the rare mental power attribute light ball. Lin Shun had the urge to grin from ear to ear. With so many attribute light balls, he did not have to worry about not being able to enter the Qi refinement realm in a short period of time. What is this kid doing there? Yuing, why don't you ask that kid for help? With his skills, he should be able to share some of our burden. The muscular man in black armor unintentionally saw Lin Shun bending down and groping around. He was shocked and puzzled as he shouted to Yuing. He's in the body-tempering realm. If he gets involved in this battle, only death awaits him. Yuing replied without turning her head as she deflected Mo Qingya's attack with her sword. Why is this stupid thing so hard? The muscular man in black armor held the dark iron hammer in his hand. His arm was numb. He had used his battle technique to smash Mo Qingya's head 3 times. Other than giving a little pain, there was no substantial damage. It has a limit. Everyone hold on. The young man in white approached Yuing and shouted. On the other side, Lin Shun had already picked up over 100 attribute light balls. His harvest was simply explosive. Host, Lin Shun Cultivation, Body Tempering Realm Level 9 Maximum Strength, 90 Tiger Power Blood Qi, 2,966 points Cultivation Soul Essence, 873 points Mental Power, 52 points Mental Cultivation Method, none Battle Techniques learned, Windbreaker Kick perfected, Breeze Dust Step perfected, Starfire Spear Technique perfected, Treasured Equipment, Windwalker Shoes Battle Qi Essence, 772 points Bloodline, Azure Dragon Bloodline, 10 points, Various Elemental Energy, 205 points Water Elemental Energy, 880 points Metal Elemental Energy, 129 points Wood Elemental Energy, 894 points Earth Elemental Energy, 791 points. After absorbing 2,000 points of Blood Qi, I still have 1,800 points left. I've finally entered Body Tempering Realm Level 9. It's time to kill this big guy and get more Azure Dragon Bloodlines. Lin Shen's aura was wild. When he turned to look at Mo Qingya, there was a ruthless look in his eyes. His shoulders shook, and the bones in his flesh shell exploded with all his might. He was like a ferocious azure dragon that was about to be born. Chapter 4. Mo Qingya's intelligence was different from ordinary ferocious beasts. If Lin Shen's combat strength was enough to threaten it, it would most likely flee immediately. Lin Shun had to find a chance to deliver a fatal blow so that it wouldn't even have the chance to escape. Mo Qingya may be strong, but if I activate the green dragon bloodline on my left arm and my spear skills, I might be able to unleash a power that could threaten it. Let's go all out. He suppressed his aura to the lowest possible level and hid in the forest. He carefully observed the battle between the 7 of them like a lone wolf hiding in the dark, ready to deliver a fatal blow. Huh? What's that? Lin Chen's eyes shone with a sharp light as he immediately locked onto a small crack below Mo Qingya's head. The scales were already signs of cracking, and within the crack, there were already signs of skin and flesh being torn apart. This was probably left behind by the battle between the 7 of them. However, the 7 inner sect disciples were constantly being pushed back by Mo Qingya and couldn't be distracted at all. They didn't even notice the hidden wound. There it is. Lin Chen suddenly gripped the silver thread swimming dragon spear tightly and danced in the air. Like a dragon's roar, it was held in Lin Chen's palm. Roar! Mo Qingya leaped out of the lake and swept its huge tail. Its ferocious and domineering strength forced 2 inner sect disciples back. It opened its bloody mouth and pounced toward the young man in white and Yuing. Just as the 2 of them gritted their teeth and prepared to fight to the death, a shadow flashed past like the wind and suddenly leaped up. Green Dragon Bloodline. Attach. Lin Chen gripped the spear tightly with both hands. The green dragon tattoo on his left arm shone with a faint light. Waves of ferocious and majestic aura were released from his left arm. At that moment, Lin Chen's left arm strength was rising steadily. 150, 200, 240, 290 tiger power. At this moment, Lin Chen's left arm alone was releasing more than 290 tiger strength. Mo Qingya instantly felt a dangerous killing intent. When it looked up, Lin Chen's figure was falling like a meteor. Starfire Spear Art, Meteor Fall. The domineering and ferocious strength roared. More than 300 tiger power was concentrated at one point, causing the silver thread swimming dragon spear to fall in an arc like a meteor. 300 tiger power. In terms of destructive power, it was comparable to a LV4 or LV5 Qi Refinement Realm Martial Artist attack. Puchi. The sharp tip of the spear pierced through the wound below Mo Qingya's head, tearing the scales and penetrating the flesh. Blood splattered everywhere, blooming in the air. Mo Qingya's giant head was pierced through by Lin Chen, and it rolled to the ground. Lin Chen landed on the ground, his entire body covered in blood. However, the coldness and murderous aura between his brows made him look like a demon from hell. He actually gave the 7 inner sect disciples a feeling that he was even more terrifying than Mo Qingya. The Qi and blood Qi and Qi to move was to die, to be to kill, to be to lead o lin, to lin, to use, to use, to be to use, to use, to use, to be, to looks like this move can only be used as a trump card. If I use it a second time, I might faint from exhaustion. Lin Chen clutched his chest and laughed bitterly in his heart. The 7 inner sect disciples stood rooted to the ground in shock. Yu Ying covered her red lips with her hand, so shocked that she was speechless. This outer sect disciple killed Mo Qingya with just one move. He's only at body tempering realm. That attack just now was at least 300 tiger power. What kind of freak is he? Oh my god. When I was at body tempering realm LV9, I could only produce 55 tiger power. This kid is too scary. Mo Qingya's severed head dropped a large number of dark red attribute light balls, as well as 3 dark green attribute light balls. There was also a black iron treasure chest that emitted a blurry light floating above its corpse. Lin Chen hurriedly picked up all the attribute light balls, and the system screen appeared. Host has received black iron treasure chest, 35 points of green dragon bloodline, 55 points of mental power, 6,959 points of Qi and blood, and 1,632 points of water-type energy. The 7 inner sect disciples were even more confused when they saw Lin Chen bending over and touching Mo Qingya's corpse in the ground. He looked like he was having a lot of fun. Mo Qingya's entire body was filled with treasures. Why did this kid not want anything but the air and the corpse? Black iron treasure, chest opened. Congratulations to the host for obtaining a special secret technique, True Water Origin Technique. This secret technique is of the water attribute. According to the system's evaluation, it requires one to be at least at Qi refinement realm to use. It can be used to quickly recover from injuries by expending battle Qi. The system screen made Lin Chen's jaw drop. This time, he had really picked up a treasure. Lin Chen had just finished picking up all the attribute light balls and was still in a state of ecstasy when Cheng Yen, the short-haired girl with a saber, asked, "I'm Cheng Yen. May I know your name, junior brother?" Her tone was gentle and respectful. Clearly, she did not treat him as an ordinary outer sect disciple. "I'm Lin Shun, an outer sect disciple. Greetings, senior sister Cheng Yen." Lin Shun was neither servile nor overbearing as he chuckled. He secretly absorbed the attribute light balls and recovered his body while his strength increased again. "Good kid, you're quite something. You can even kill Mo Qingya, who is of a higher level than you. The rule between us is that the one who makes the last attack gets to pick the materials from Mo Qingya's corpse first. You go first." The brawny man in black armor grinned. But a voice of disapproval came from behind him. "No, we can't let this kid pick first. If it weren't for our tough battle earlier, how could an outer sect disciple like him be qualified to fight Mo Qingya on equal footing with us?" At this moment, the young man in white stood in front of Lin Shan with a look of disdain and looked down at him condescendingly. "Kid, know your place. You're just an outer sect disciple. Even if you're lucky enough to kill Mo Qingya, you're just a trash body-tempering realm cultivator." The young man in white was not afraid of Lin Shun. He was a level 5 Qi refinement realm cultivator, and he thought that Lin Shen's previous attack that killed Mo Qingya was just a coincidence. Although the secret skill he used to unleash 300 tiger power is strong, I don't think he can use it a second time in a short period of time. Moreover, I don't have to worry about being hit if I'm not in close combat. When I recover, I can kill a mere body-tempering realm cultivator with a raise of my hand. The young man in white sneered as he made up his mind. "Get lost. Seeing that you saved junior sister Ing? I won't argue with you. The two of us don't agree either. What right does an outer sect trash in the body-tempering realm have to share the treasures of a mutated beast like Mo Qingya with us?" After the young man in white, a pair of twin intersect disciples stood out and glanced at Lin Shan with disdain. Seeing that the young man in white did not give Lin Shan any face, Yu Ying's pretty face could not help but change slightly. "An intersect Qi refinement realm senior brother, huh? Very overbearing. Looking at your looks, it's a pity that you don't play basketball." The corners of Lin Chen's mouth curled up into a cruel sneer. Originally, he did not plan to take anything from Mo Qingya, but he had changed his mind now. Whoosh! The silver-lined swimming dragon spear was held in his hand at lightning speed. Lin Shun threw the spear furiously, and the tip of the spear turned into a bolt of lightning. Everyone was shocked. The young man in white did not expect Lin Shun to attack directly. Chapter 5. You're courting death. 3-flower sword Qi art. Unsheathing the long sword at his waist, the white-clothed youth drew a silver flower and deflected the swimming dragon spear that Lin Shun threw at him. Boom, boom. At the moment when the blue sea wandering dragon spear was bounced away, an evil aura like a fierce dragon rushed to his face, and the young man in white was so scared that his face turned pale in an instant. Azure Dragon Bloodline Release. Lin Shun raised his left arm high. Pale green scales appeared on his wrist, and his veins were exposed. It was as if his arm had transformed into an azure dragon. Lin Chen's fist was like a mountain-splitting hammer as it smashed into the white-clothed youth's chest. The explosion of air showed the terrifying power of this punch. It was not inferior to the attack of some Qi refinement realm cultivators. Even with the sword in front of him, the white-clothed youth was still sent flying by Lin Chen's punch. He fell to the ground like a kite with a broken string. The 6 inner sect disciples could clearly hear the sound of his bones breaking. Phew! After absorbing the Azure Dragon bloodline, I can now roughly control the power output when activating the bloodline. My arm is already showing signs of transforming into an Azure Dragon arm. If I can get more Azure Dragon bloodline attribute light balls, I wonder if I can transform into a human-shaped Azure Dragon. Lin Chun swung his arm, his eyes filled with bloodthirsty excitement. He walked over and picked up the 5 attribute light balls that the white-clothed youth dropped. The host has received 200 points of Battle Aura Essence, 41 points of Mental Energy, 704 points of Blood Essence, 277 points of Cultivation Method Essence, and 79 points of Metal Energy. Who else is not convinced? Come out. Patting his shoulder, Lin Chun declared in a cold voice, his domineering aura leaking out. Domineering, cold, cruel. The 6 inner sect disciples were all stunned. A small outer sect disciple actually had such strength and courage. He attacked an inner sect disciple just because of a disagreement. You're not convinced? Staring at the twin inner sect disciples, Lin Chun narrowed his eyes and sneered. You. The two of them were angry but did not dare to say anything. Lin Chen's decisiveness in killing had completely stunned them. Forget it. There's still a few days until the inner sect disciple ranking competition. There's no need to fight with this kid. The two of them thought to themselves. Then, they cautiously retreated to the side with Lin Chun. The muscular man in black armor quickly helped the white-clad young man up, and a hint of fear appeared on the latter's pained and hideous face. If it's a next time, I'll kill you. Lin Chun coldly glanced at the white-clothed youth. Killing him here would only invite unnecessary trouble. That punch, just now, was enough to make him bedridden for at least 2 months, and it would be difficult for him to advance his cultivation. After that, Lin Chun turned around and picked up the silver-line Wandering Dragon Spear. He peeled off a layer of scales from Mo Qingyan's head and left with it on his shoulder. Looking at Lin Chun's back as he left, Yuying was filled with gratitude and reverence, while Changyan's beautiful eyes flickered with a different kind of splendor as she secretly exclaimed, "If this little junior brother becomes an inner sect disciple, he will definitely become an overlord." After killing Mo Qingya, Lin Chen's body strength had risen like a hot knife through butter. He now had the qualifications to break through to the Qi refining realm. The body tempering realm was only a foundation, and the Qi refining realm was the beginning of cultivation for humans. After tempering the body to a certain extent, one would begin to sense the spiritual Qi of heaven and earth and absorb it into one's dantian to cultivate their own battle Qi. The stronger the foundation in the body tempering realm, the higher the chances of breaking through to the Qi refining realm. Out of the tens of thousands of outer sect disciples in the Shenwu sect, only a few hundred had truly broken through to the Qi refining realm and passed the assessment to become inner sect disciples. If one's body was not strong enough or his body tempering realm was not high enough and missed the best age to cultivate battle Qi, then it would be difficult for him to break through to the Qi refining realm in his lifetime, and he would be destined to be an ordinary person. I've already obtained more than 900 battle Qi essences, and the strength of my body is still rising. I should find a place to seclude myself and break through to the Qi refining realm. Lin Chun put on the green-scaled skin that had been washed with clean water and picked up the attribute light balls scattered on the ground. Mo Qingyan's scaled skin was tough and durable and had a better defensive ability. It was one of the most important parts of Mo Qingyan. Just as Lin Chun was keeping an eye on his surroundings and picking up the attribute light balls in the Red Peak Forest, the ground suddenly shook from afar. Bang! 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 The shaking was very stable, and it was not an ordinary earthquake. Moo! A long sound wave like roar came, and a hot wave of blood and Qi rolled over. A huge creature that was almost 100 meters tall appeared a few kilometers away from Lin Chun, and he sucked in a breath of cold air. Is that a Treasure Mountain elephant? The Treasure Mountain giant elephant was an extremely rare, ferocious beast. Rather than calling it a beast, it was better to call it a treasure beast. They had a gentle personality, but they had an incomparably strong defensive ability and body advantage, and they also had a sense of detecting treasures. These treasure beasts only ate top-grade herbs and natural treasures, and they had a natural sense of detecting treasures. In every mountain range, there could be 1 or 2 treasure mountain elephants. Their bodies were full of treasures, but they were also very difficult to kill, and they had a defense and destructive power that surpassed most of the other beasts. Lin Chen's treasure mountain elephant was at least at the peak of stage 2. In terms of cultivation, it was already at level 9 of the spirit detecting realm, and martial artists of the same level might not even be able to break through its defense. The huge elephant's body was bronze, and it released an ancient pressure. Everywhere it went, trees were destroyed and the earth cracked. Even Lin Chan did not care too much and immediately retreated to the side. Even if the treasure mountain elephant was not as violent as other beasts, it could still smash him to pieces with a casual swing of its tail. The earth trembled and the ground trembled. Lin Chan hid behind the tall mountain until the 300-meter-tall treasure mountain elephant gradually disappeared into the distance. Only then did he let out a sigh of relief. What a pity! If my strength was enough, I might have been able to follow this treasure mountain elephant to search for natural treasures and take the opportunity to make a fortune. Lin Chan shook his head in regret. The current him was still too weak. My strength has already reached 117 tiger strength, and my cultivation has already touched the peak of level 9 of the body tempering realm. After calming down, Lin Chan was preparing to find a safe place to break through to the Qi refining realm, but a dazzling light a few kilometers away attracted Lin Chan's attention. A large amount of high-quality attribute light balls were piled up together, causing Lin Chan to be dazzled. The quality of these attribute light balls was even higher than the ones dropped by the intersect disciples. It's that treasure mountain elephants. Lin Chan excitedly jumped up, wild with joy. Using the breeze step, he turned into a shadow and rushed over. However, when Lin Chan neared those attribute light balls, the corner of his mouth could not help but twitch. These dazzling attribute light balls were all piled up on top of a pile of dark green feces. What the treasure mountain elephant swallowed were all top-quality natural treasures, and even the feces it excreted were still the energy residue of many natural treasures. The quality of the attribute light balls could not be underestimated. Damn it, I'll risk it. When martial artists cultivate battle chi, which one of them does not walk on the edge of blade? Compared to those who risk their lives, this is nothing. Lin Chan clenched his teeth, pinched his nose, and bent down to pick up these high-quality attribute light balls. Chapter 6. At first, Lin Chan was a little reluctant, but he was quickly overwhelmed by a huge surprise. Blood Qi was not only suitable for the body tempering realm. After entering the Qi refinement realm, cultivating battle Qi was the right way to go. However, the stronger the blood Qi, the stronger the body tempering realm, and there was no upper limit. The treasure mountain elephant had left behind more than one pile of feces, and Lin Chan could not wait for it to poop more. The attribute light balls on it were all treasures. That scared me to death. I didn't expect to encounter a treasure mountain elephant from the Qingxia Mountains. At this moment, a few figures gradually appeared in the Red Peak Forest. They were the 7 inner sect disciples from before. Their faces were still filled with lingering fear, but when they looked forward, they could not help but be stunned. They actually saw Lin Chan crazily grabbing at the treasure mountain elephant's feces. F*CK. What a ruthless person. He's actually touching the feces. Could it be that this Lin Chan Jr. brother has gone crazy from training his flesh shell in the body tempering realm? This guy must be sick in the head. Why is he touching that feces? Chang Yen frowned and said. Lin Chan, who did not care about these people, recklessly picked up the attribute light balls and even picked up a black iron treasure chest. Open black iron treasure chest. Host receives green level intermediate alchemy handprint, heavenly spirit pill transformation technique. It's actually an alchemy handprint. Alchemy was a precious resource for cultivation in the Jiuzhou continent, and those who refined alchemy were born with mental strength that was different from ordinary people. Only those who could cultivate the extremely difficult alchemy handprints were qualified to refine them. The value of every alchemy handprint was the lifeblood of an alchemist, and was even more precious than the recipe of an alchemy pill. Ha ha ha! Awesome, awesome! Lin Chen could not help but laugh out loud. The value of this green-level alchemy handprint was comparable to a large city. Even the Xinwu sect's collection of alchemy handprints was only at the peak of the yellow level. Even the Xinwu sect leader did not have the capital to obtain a scroll of the green-level alchemy handprint. However, the scene of Lin Chen's wild laughter left the few inner sect disciples dumbfounded, and they looked at each other with their mouths agape. Had this child lost his mind? How could he smile so happily while holding a pile of feces? And he kept shouting that it felt good? His illness was quite serious. As long as I can break through to the Qi refinement realm, I can also try to become an alchemist. Awesome. Lin Shun suppressed the ecstasy in his heart and bent down again to pick up a few attribute light balls. Then he turned back to the area where the treasure mountain giant elephant had passed by earlier. He picked up all the lumps he saw, not letting any of them go. Crazy, he must be crazy. Let's not provoke this lunatic. The inner sect ranking competition is in a few days. I don't want to be targeted by this lunatic. Let's just pretend that we didn't see anything, the black-armored giant said as he wiped the sweat off his forehead while carrying the white-clothed youth. Sigh, he's such a good young man. Why did he go crazy? Cheng Yin sighed regretfully. On the other side, Lin Shen looted and picked up all the attribute light balls left behind by the Treasure Mountain elephant. Then, he turned back the way he came, took a shower, and returned to Mo Qingya's lair. This was because in this dangerous Azure Dawn Mountain range, that was the only place suitable for him to go into seclusion to break through to the Qi refinement realm. Inside Mo Qingya's lair, the water curtain moved. Lin Shun sat cross-legged on a dry green rock and opened the system. Host, Lin Shun cultivation level, peak of body tempering stage, level 9 limit of strength, 185 tiger power vital blood energy, 12,561 points cultivation method essence, 1992 points. Mental energy, 172 points mental cultivation method, none combat skills learned. Wind-rending kick, flawless stage. Breeze dust steps, flawless stage. Starfire spear technique, flawless stage. Items possessed. Windwalk shoes, heavenly spirit pill transformation technique. True water fusion technique battle chi essence. 1,228 points bloodline possessed. Azure Dragon bloodline, 45 points. Various elemental energy, 785 points water element. 1,545 points metal element. 1,027 points wood element. 1,452 points earth element. 1,041 points. Lin Chen concentrated on his cultivation and entered a meditative state. His fleshly body began to enter a strange state of vibration, as if he was connected with the heaven and earth. Faintly, Lin Shun could feel a faint white mist floating in the air. His body was instinctively thirsting for this white mist. Is this the spiritual energy that permeates the heavens and earth? Come here. Lin Chen's aura fluctuated, and his entire body emitted the sound of bones cracking. His entire body became a vortex with a strong suction force, sucking in all the spiritual energy in the surrounding 10 feet into his dantian. As the spiritual energy entered his body, Lin Chen forcefully suppressed it into his dantian. All the energy in his body was like an erupting volcano, releasing a powerful and terrifying aura, suppressing the spiritual energy that was being sucked in. The stronger the foundation of the body-tempering realm was, the easier it would be to break through to the Qi refining realm. Lin Chen already had 185 tiger strength at body tempering stage 9. Not to mention the Xinwu sect. Even if he was placed in a real ancient sect, he would still be considered a genius. Under Lin Chen's suppression, All the spiritual energy was compressed into qi and channeled into his dantian through his meridians. When Lin Shun began to temper his battle qi, the 1,279 points of battle qi essence in his system began to automatically transform into his battle qi cultivation. This caused his breakthrough speed to be unprecedentedly fast. For hours later, Lin Shun, who was sitting cross-legged on the green rock, suddenly opened his eyes. Chi. Two beams of qi transformed into thumb-sized ribbons and shot out, splitting a part of the cave wall and leaving a half-meter-long crack. Within Lin Shen's dantian, a layer of white qi floated and circulated continuously. His aura was more than 5 times stronger than before. After absorbing the spiritual energy of heaven and earth to temper his body, his pure strength had surpassed 925 tiger strength. No matter how strong a body-tempering realm cultivator was, he was just a brute. However, a qi-refining realm cultivator could cultivate battle qi to temper his body, but the strength of his flesh alone could crush a body-tempering realm cultivator. Not to mention, he could release battle qi in battle. All aspects of a cultivator's abilities would undergo a qualitative change. Qi-refining realm completed. Cultivating alchemy hand seals. Host is cultivating heavenly spirit pill transformation technique. 1,000 cultivation essence and all spiritual energy are consumed. Merging for host. Host is cultivating primordial water technique. 992 cultivation essence, 1,545 water type energy. For 3 consecutive days, Lin Shun had been cultivating alchemy hand seals. In Mo Qingya's lair, there were many herbs for him to squander, so he could practice to his heart's content. The Jojo continent's alchemy hand seals and battle skills were divided into 6 grades. For grades, yellow grade, green grade, blue grade, purple grade, and orange grade. Each grade was further divided into low grade, mid grade, high grade, and top grade. The complexity of the green grade alchemy hand seals was so high that if not for the help of the system, he would not have been able to become an alchemist in his lifetime. On the 4th day, all the herbs in Mo Qingya's lair were used up. Only then did Lin Shun end his seclusion to cultivate alchemy hand seals. Tomorrow is the Intersect Disciple ranking competition. It's time to get everything back. A cold glint flashed across Lin Shen's eyes. Like a swift cheetah, his figure tore through the air and disappeared. Chapter 7. In the intersect area of the Shenwu sect, there was a towering mountain surrounded by clouds and mist like a fairyland. There was a canyon in the mountain, and both sides were filled with Shenwu sect disciples. Today was the Intersect's biennial ranking competition, the biggest event in the Intersect. In the middle of the canyon, there were dozens of arenas. In front of the arenas, dozens of young men and women entered one by one. It's the Intersect's top 50 disciples. I have high hopes for senior sister Zero in this ranking competition. Her wave-splitting wind palm can shatter mountains. Just her aura alone can push back dozens of us Qi refinement realm disciples. Che, senior brother Tang, Feng fought his way into the top 10 in the last ranking competition. I think he'll be in the top 3 this time as well. Senior brother Sung Yin Hai has been in first place for 2 years. I wonder if there are any intersect disciples who can shake his position. Speaking of the way of the sword, I still have high hopes for Liao Jianhua. Although he's arrogant, his talent is really heaven-defying. Half a year ago, he was able to fight with an elder for dozens of rounds without losing. Clearly, he has the standards to be in the top 10. I heard he's also cultivating medicine. What a monster. Comparisons are odious. The outer sect disciples watching the ranking competition from both sides of the canyon were discussing excitedly. At the lowest level of the canyon, the intersect disciples participating in the ranking competition sat in their designated seats. Boom! At the entrance, there was a gust of wind. The person who entered was a young man of about 20 years old. He was dressed in white and had a sword. His eyebrows were sharp and his eyes were bright. He looked cold and arrogant, as if he was riding on the wind. He officially entered, causing some female disciples to scream. Jianhua, you're here. A young lady sitting in her designated seat happily stood up. Her face was as beautiful as the moon, and her eyes were as clear as water. Under her seemingly gentle appearance, there was a seductive aura. Yes, Qing, thank you for the herbs you picked for me this time, allowing me to improve. Liao Jianhua reached his designated seat and hugged Su Qing. As if there was no one around, he caressed the latter's exquisite body and smiled evilly. He, Liao Jianhua, I heard you're an outer sect disciple and Lin Chen's old flame. That guy called Lin Chen isn't simple now. He seriously injured Sun Zhangyan with one punch. You might be in big trouble now. The strong man in black armor behind Liao Jianhua's seat laughed strangely. Su Qing, who was in Liao Jianhua's arms, had a slight change in expression, but she quickly restrained herself and giggled. Lin Chen, this kid is only an abandoned baby that my uncle adopted, a complete and utter mortal. Even if he had some fortuitous encounters, how could he be compared to my sword's brilliance? Su Qing'er covered her mouth and chuckled. She did not hide her disgust for Lin Chen in her tone. He's just a piece of trash with a bit of luck. If he dares to appear, this young master will only need one sword strike. This time, the first place in the inner sect is mine. Liao Jianhua said disdainfully. Is that Liao Jianhua? Lin Chen walked past the back row of the auditorium on both sides. When he saw Liao Jianhua enter, his eyes narrowed and a murderous intent flashed past. Then, Lin Chen casually picked up an attribute light ball beside him and absorbed it into his body. He looked around and realized that other than the disciples in the Qi cultivation realm, no other body-tempering realm disciples had any attribute light balls around them. It seems that those whose cultivation is too weak or too strong will not have any attribute light balls around them. Looking at the few elders and the Shenwu sect leader on the high platform, Lin Chen understood why they did not have any attribute light balls around them. Lin Chen, who was biding his time, calmly picked up the attribute light balls on both sides of the auditorium and waited for the right moment to strike. This is the Liao Jianhua that Elder Lu has painstakingly nurtured? His movement technique is superb and his sword will is sharp. He's a good seedling. Sitting at the end of the valley on the mountainside, a man in green nodded his head in approval. Sect leader, this time Jianhua might bring you an unexpected surprise. A white-haired elder beside him stroked his beard and laughed, looking very pleased with himself. Then let me see what other trump cards this kid has up his sleeves. The Shenwu sect leader smiled and shook his head, then stood up. The inter-sect ranking competition officially begins now. I won't waste any more time. All the inter-sect disciples will draw lots for the competition. All the disciples present will have one chance to challenge an inter-sect disciple in the ranking competition. The crowd was in an uproar. Many of the inter-sect disciples were rubbing their fists, eager to fight. The top 50 inter-sect disciples, please draw lots. An elder holding a lottery box slowly walked out and announced in a clear voice. All 50 inter-sect disciples stepped out and drew lots, then came to the arena number that they had drawn. Wow! At this moment, the crowd was in an uproar. On arena number 7 stood a youth in a silver robe. He carried a saber on his back and had fierce eyes and sharp eyebrows. He was domineering and cold. Inter-sect number 1, Sengyan Hai. His opponent was Liao Jianhua, who had appeared out of nowhere. The best dark horse against the strongest in the inter-sect. Two highly anticipated inter-sect experts had actually met in the first round. Senior Sengyan Hai is already at LV8 Qi cultivation realm. Liao Jianhua, who is only at LV5 Qi cultivation realm, shouldn't be his match? Many inter-sect disciples swallowed their saliva. This battle was simply too shocking. Sengyan Hai jumped into the arena, and Liao Jianhua rose into the air. Both of them entered the arena. I don't care if you're number 1 or not. I will destroy all techniques with one sword. Liao Jianhua held his sword and said calmly, let's see who's stronger. Sengyan Hai was indifferent as he drew his saber, Even the elders were paying close attention to this battle. It was simply a battle between the top 10. The moment the saber was drawn, a bright light swept across the arena. Sung Yunhai held his saber with both hands. The saber aura was like a raging wave, causing the entire arena to surge. Raging Wave's saber. The raging wave slashed out a white light that was dozens of feet long. It was filled with murderous intent. The killing power of this saber was not to be underestimated. Even against Mo Qingya, who Lin Shun had encountered previously, it was completely possible for him to retreat. His first move was a killer move. Sing Yunhai did not underestimate Liao Jianhua at all. Cloud Thundersword. His sword was drawn like a dragon. The battle chi sword beam pierced through the white light that Sung Yunhai had hidden under his saber aura. Liao Jianhua activated his movement technique and swept forward like a raging wind, clashing with Sung Yunhai instantly. Green-grade battle technique. Both of them are using green-grade battle techniques right from the start. A group of intersect disciples who were not ranked shouted in excitement. Saber light and sword shadows danced endlessly. The battle experience of both of them was crafty and ruthless. Their eyes, necks, hearts, and the tip of their sabers and swords clashed with killing intent, causing the intersect disciples to be shaken to their core. Their figures crisscrossed. Both of their movement techniques were among the best in the intersect. Other than a small number of people, most of the disciples could only see two afterimages whizzing by. The battles in the other arenas were not as intense as this one. Everyone held their breaths, not daring to miss a single detail. Narrowing his eyes, Lin Shun cultivated the Elixir Refinement Hand Seal. After absorbing the Spirit Attribute Light Ball, his perception was several times stronger than martial artists of the same level. Liao Jianhua's movements were all captured by him. His sword skills are very high, but it doesn't mean that I don't have a chance to defeat him. His lips curled into a confident smile. While everyone was focused on the battle, he had already quietly walked into the intersect disciples area and picked up a large number of attribute light balls. Arena number 7, Thunder Meteor, 3,000 layers of ocean knife. When the battle reached its climax, the saber shadows that filled the sky collided with the electric sword light that resembled a rainbow, causing the entire arena to tremble. The tip of the sword that was flashing with electric light seemed to have been accumulating power for a long time. Although it looked like it was dissipating the force, it was actually hiding its sharpness. The tip of the sword suddenly trembled and shot out 3 electric arcs that were as thick as an arm towards Sung Yunhai. What? Sung Yunhai's expression changed slightly. His body spun in the air, and he barely dodged the attack. Immediately after, Liao Jianhua's sword aura surged towards him like a torrential storm. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. The sound of wind breaking could be heard, and faint traces of blood appeared on Sung Yunhai's body. Boom! The sword light flipped, and an unparalleled force came from the tip of the sword, striking Sung Yunhai's body. Blood splattered in the air. Sung Yunhai was sent flying like a kite with a broken string. He fell to the ground, his chest stained with blood. Many outer sect disciples stood up one after another. Was it going to be a big upset today? Your swordsmanship has already reached this stage of perfection. Sung Yunhai's mouth was filled with blood as he cried out in disbelief. The stage of perfection was the pinnacle of battle technique cultivation. Battle techniques could be used at will, released at will, and retracted at will. This state of being one with the heavens was something that not even the elders of the Shenwu sect had reached. You're just an extension of an ordinary person. As for me, I'm a true genius. I'll give you a chance. Get off the arena yourself. Otherwise, I'll cripple you on the spot. Liao Jianhua pointed his sword at Sung Yunhai from afar, revealing a terrifying confidence and disdain between his brows. He did not take him seriously at all. I admit defeat. Sung Yunhai gritted his teeth and lowered his head in extreme reluctance. In terms of battle techniques, he admitted that even if he was not as good as Liao Jianhua, the difference was not too great. However, If his opponent's swordsmanship had reached the stage of perfection, then he had no chance of winning. Senior Tsang Yunhai actually lost. Many of the inner sect disciples in the midst of battle looked over. The strongest inner sect disciple, Tsang Yunhai, actually lost to Liao Jianhua, who was only ranked 40th 2 years ago. Haha, good. The stage of perfection swordsmanship. In the 40 generations of disciples of the Xinwu sect, there has never been a disciple who could comprehend the stage of perfection swordsmanship in his early 20s. This Liao Jianhua is indeed the #1 genius of the Xinwu sect. The Xinwu sect leader stroked his beard and laughed heartily. He really admired Liao Jianhua. All the elders immediately flattered him. Clap, clap, clap. Just as everyone was still in shock, a crisp and leisurely applause rang through the entire arena. What a great stage of perfection swordsmanship. I wonder if the great genius Liao is interested in having a match with me? Everyone looked over. A young man in a black robe slowly walked over from the inner sect disciples' resting area. The corner of his mouth curved into a devilish and confident smile. "Little guy, who are you?" the judge asked curiously. He did not have any recollection of this #1 inner sect disciple. Outer sect disciple, Lin Chun. Neither servile nor overbearing, Lin Chun smiled and cupped his fists together. Outer sect disciple? Not only the judge, but even the tens of thousands of disciples outside the arena were stunned. Lin Chun, it's really him? And he's even in the qi cultivation stage? Su Qing'er's delicate body trembled. She stood up and stared at his back view in shock. An outer sect disciple wants to challenge Liao Jianhua, who just defeated the strongest disciple in the inner sect. Lin Chun kid, are you serious? The judge frowned and asked in a doubtful tone, even though it was not against the rules. But such actions were undoubtedly courting death. He's that Lin Chun. Haha, I remember this guy. I heard that when Su Qing'er went to find Liao Jianhua, he even ran to the inner sect in tears and sweat. I'm dying of laughter. I remember, if Senior Liao Jianhua was not in seclusion, he could have killed him with one slap. Ha! I guess he's just throwing an egg at a rock. What a joke. The outer sect disciples outside the arena burst into laughter. Even Liao Jianhua shook his head and laughed. I'm wondering if you're crazy. You don't even have the right to touch my heels. Or is this woman really that important to you? Liao Jianhua raised his eyebrows and looked at Su Qing'er mockingly. Then he looked at Lin Chun. Why don't you kneel down and call me Grandpa now? Maybe I'll be merciful and tell you how she feels in bed. Ha ha ha. Liao Jianhua was overflowing with arrogance as he laughed heartily. Lin Chun was unperturbed and smiled leisurely. Times have changed. In my eyes, this kind of trash is not even fit to carry my shoes. Of course, there's you too, Liao Jianhua. His childish face was filled with a dense, killing intent. I'll torture you so badly that even your mother won't recognize you. Chapter 8. Liao Jianhua's muscles twitched as he put on a fake smile. Seems like you're looking for death. I'll grant you your wish. Come up and accept your death. Boom. Liao Jianhua unsheathed his sword and pointed it at Lin Chun. Seeing that both of them were ready to kill, the judge knew what both of them wanted to do and announced loudly. Outer sect, disciple Lin Chun challenges inner sect, disciple Liao Jianhua. Both of them have agreed. Life and death will be decided by the heavens. Even the judge sided with Liao Jianhua and changed the rules to life and death will be decided by the heavens. With a stomp of his feet, Lin Chun leapt onto the stage. The blood in his entire body was boiling. It was as if this body was instinctively roaring at Lin Chun, telling him that he must kill this person. He could ignore anyone else, but Liao Jianhua was the source of the hatred and resentment of Lin Chun's original body. He was someone he had to kill. Interesting. Let's take a look at this Lin Chun again. He might be another genius of the Xinwu sect. The sect leader of the Xinwu sect sat on the high platform and sized up Lin Chun with interest. Sect leader, you must be joking. He's just a mantis trying to stop a chariot. The elder who trained Liao Jianhua curled his lips in disdain. On the stage, Lin Chen held his spear, while Liao Jianhua held his sword. "I'll let a wild dog like you see my true strength." Liao Jianhua's sword moved like the wind. When he attacked, the sword flashed and turned into the shadow of a Sin Dragon that occupied the entire stage. Die! Sin Dragon sword art. The tip of the sword pierced forward, and the evil dragon roared. Liao Jianhua displayed a sword art that was even more terrifying than Sun Yunhai's. A gust of wind blew and his robes fluttered. Lin Chen's blood boiled as he pulled out his spear. He turned into a meteor and crashed into the Sin Dragon. Boom! Chi-chi! The incomparably violent power passed through the tip of the spear and collided with the evil dragon of swordlight, causing the arena to crack continuously. "This wild dog can withstand my Sin Dragon sword art." Liao Jianhua couldn't believe it. He waved a 3-feet-long sword and used the evil dragon's tail sweep. He changed his attack and attacked Lin Chen's left side. Lin Chen brandished the Blue Sea Wandering Dragon Spear, spun in the air, and smashed the tip of the spear down. The Azure Dragon tattoo on his left arm flickered slightly, and his strength increased by another notch. Bang! The tip of the spear crushed the evil dragon. Both of them took 3 steps back, but Liao Jianhua's steps were heavier. After picking up all the attribute light balls from the spectator seats, Lin Chen's pure strength was around 1032 tiger power. He could easily crush a martial artist in the 4th or 5th tier of the Qi refinement realm with just his strength alone. Although after entering the Qi refining realm, the battle Qi would cleanse a martial artist's body, but normally it would only increase the strength of 100 to 200 tigers. For someone like Lin Chen who had the strength of 1,000 tigers, he was simply a vicious beast in human form. What a powerful, pure strength. He's more than a few times stronger than when he killed Mo Qingya. Cheng Yin, who had not participated in the competition, exclaimed in surprise. Her beautiful eyes were filled with curiosity. This wild dog does have some skills. I hope it doesn't fail miserably. The wind blew, and Liao Jianhua's body flashed past like a flash of light. Clang! The spear flipped like a swimming dragon and stabbed behind him. Liao Jianhua was so shocked that he hurriedly raised his sword to block. Facing Lin Chen's ferocious strength head-on, Liao Jianhua's arm went numb from the shock. An attribute light ball fell from his left arm. Lin Chen caught it with one hand and absorbed it into his body. The system screen appeared. Host has received 588 skill essence points. This guy is full of treasures. Lin Chen, who was burning with fighting spirit, licked his lips. Together with the windwalk shoes, he used breeze step to the extreme. He saw through my movements? Liao Jianhua didn't even have time to breathe. Holding his sword in a reverse grip, he instantly engaged in a fierce battle with Lin Chen. The battle between the two was far more intense than the battle with Sun Yunhai. Cracks covered the arena, and battle chi exploded one after another. All the spectating disciples were dazzled. It was also the first time they saw Liao Jianhua's true strength. So he was still holding back. If he had used all his strength in the previous battle, I would definitely have lost within 20 rounds. Sun Yunhai shook his head and smiled bitterly. However, the surrounding inner sect disciples were even more shocked. Lin Chen was actually able to match Liao Jianhua with the strength of a Qi refinement realm level 1. Host has received 966 points of Qi and blood, 334 skill essence points, 172 points of metal attribute points, 65 points of spiritual power. Lin Chen became fiercer as the battle went on. Every attribute light ball that fell from Liao Jianhua's body was absorbed by him. His attacks were even more ferocious. He was like a ferocious beast. Every time Liao Jianhua wanted to shake off Lin Chen would predict his movements and seal his movements, forcing him to only be able to fight him in close combat. As for close combat, that was the domain that Lin Chen was most proficient in. This made Liao Jianhua have the urge to vomit blood. He, who was suppressed in close combat. He didn't even have time to use many high-level sword techniques. He felt like he had power, but couldn't use it. The reason why Lin Chen could predict Liao Jianhua's movements was because his spiritual power was not inferior to his opponent's. In fact, it was even stronger. His spiritual power was so strong that he could detect every detail of Liao Jianhua's movements and predict his movements in advance. Bang! The white-hot battle was interrupted by an explosion. Lin Chen's silver-lined swimming dragon spear was broken by Liao Jianhua's sword. The latter's swordsmanship was tricky. He immediately followed up with a second slash at Lin Chen's shoulder. Violent and ferocious energy surged in his left arm. The moment Lin Chen's shoulder was slashed by Liao Jianhua, he suddenly struck Liao Jianhua's chest with his palm. Liao Jianhua vomited blood. Lin Chen's shoulder was bleeding. Both of them retreated more than 10 steps. Mo Qingya's scales protected Lin Chen, so he only suffered a superficial wound. However, it was different for Liao Jianhua. A few of his ribs were probably broken. The moment Lin Chen hit Liao Jianhua, a light green treasure chest flew out. Lin Chen caught it and opened it immediately. Host has opened the black iron treasure chest. You have obtained the advanced green sword technique, Myriad Thunder Qianjun Sword. Advanced green sword technique. The sword technique grade was so high that even Lin Chen was surprised. System, I want to learn this sword technique. Host learning Myriad Thunder Qianjun Sword consumed 2,585 cultivation essence. This advanced green-level sword skill had consumed almost all of Lin Chen's cultivation method essence in one go. Brand new memories flooded into Lin Chen's mind. Now that you don't even have a weapon, let's see how a wild dog like you can block my ultimate sword technique. Liao Jianhua spat out blood and revealed a sinister and cruel smile. He raised the sword in his hand to the sky. Streaks of lightning condensed from battle aura surrounded the blade. Boom! The lightning struck down and tore the entire arena apart. The momentum was so strong that even the elders were shocked. This is at least an advanced green sword technique. Looks like this Liao Jianhua has a great opportunity. Even our Shenwu sect does not have many techniques of this grade. Not only does he have it, but he can also cultivate it to the transformative stage. He is indeed a genius. The Shenwu sect leader exclaimed. The outcome of this battle was still uncertain. However, what happened next shocked them even more. Lin Chen's lips curled into a mocking smile. Sword technique? I know it too. Sword come. With a wave of his hand, an outer sect disciple's sword flew uncontrollably towards Lin Chen and into his hand. With a sword in hand, Lin Chen was like a peerless swordsman standing at the peak of the world, cold and arrogant. The 3-feet-long sword in his hand was covered in lightning. It was the same sword technique as Liao Jianhua's, and it was also cultivated to the transformative stage. At this moment, everyone's expression was very interesting. Chapter 9. No one had expected this to happen. Transformational level swordsmanship versus transformational level swordsmanship. Moreover, both of them had practiced the same swordsmanship. How is this possible? This young master's myriad lightning Qianjun swordsmanship was obtained from the corpse of a deceased swordsman. Even Elder Qi doesn't know about it. How did he obtain it? Liao Jianhua was shocked. His instincts told him that Lin Chen was hiding a huge secret. He had to die. Although I don't know where a wild dog like you learned this swordsmanship from, you're only at the first tier of the Qi cultivation realm. You don't even have a mental cultivation technique. You're looking for death. Liao Jianhua shouted coldly as he slashed out with his sword. The lightning sword was as thick as a pillar and as long as 10 feet. It was accompanied by countless lightning afterimages as it furiously attacked. The battle Qi in his dantian rapidly disappeared. Lin Chen drew out all of his battle Qi and slashed out with his sword. 2 lightning sword beams collided with each other, emitting a dazzling, resplendent lightning. Crack Qi! The sword shattered. Lin Chen's battle Qi cultivation was still a bit weaker. He was only able to reduce Liao Jianhua's power by half before he was defeated. However, Lin Chen did not advance. Instead, he retreated. His afterimages were like blades as he rushed towards the myriad, lightning, Qianjun swordsmanship. Azure Dragon Bloodline, 50% strength, attach. The azure light on his left arm was extinguished. Dragon scales rolled as he roared and destroyed the ancient dragon's roar. His tiger power soared to more than 3,000. Lin Shen raised his left arm and slapped the lightning sword with his palm. Bang! The terrifying power exploded and filled the sky with shockwaves. It directly shattered the incoming sword. What? He defeated an advanced green-level sword technique with one hand? Many elders stood up and stared at Lin Shen's figure as if they had seen a ghost. He actually defeated my myriad, lightning, Qianjun swordsmanship. Liao Jianhua's face was pale and ashen. Before he could react, Lin Shen turned into an afterimage and rushed towards Liao Jianhua the moment he shattered the sword. With a claw, Lin Shen grabbed Liao Jianhua's face and slammed his head into the ground. Some of the inner sect disciples' faces changed drastically. They never thought that Lin Shen would actually want to kill. If this hit landed, Liao Jianhua's head would probably explode on the spot. In the nick of time, a ghostly figure appeared beside the two of them and grabbed Lin Shen's arm and Liao Jianhua's shoulder, forcefully separating the two of them. All right, the outcome has been decided. Stop. The person who attacked was the sect leader of the Shenwu sect. Lin Shen frowned. He had wanted to directly end Liao Jianhua, but he had been interrupted. The sect master of the Divine Martial Sect is at least at the Battle Soul Realm. Even if I release all the power of the Azure Dragon Arm, I won't be able to kill Liao Jianhua in front of him. Forget it. I'll find a second chance. Lin Shen's eyes flickered as he quickly withdrew his killing intent, causing the sect master to raise his eyebrows slightly. At such a young age, this kid was able to restrain his killing intent so easily. This kind of person was usually an extremely terrifying existence. Many of the disciples present had yet to recover from their shock. Not only did an outer sect disciple defeat the inner sect's strongest disciple, Liao Jianhua, he even forced the sect leader to personally stop him. This kid doesn't know how to control his strength. In order to win, I can only use my full strength. I hope the sect leader will forgive me. Lin Shen cupped his fist towards the sect leader with a calm expression. Sect leader, this kid cannot be left alive. He was obviously aiming to kill Jianhua just now. Let me kill him personally. Liao Jianhua's master, Elder Qi, rode the wind over and stared coldly at Lin Shen. If I was hit by that sword just now, I would have died without a doubt. He was the only one who killed me, not me. Elder Qi sure is fair. Lin Shen sneered. He did not intend to give the other party any face. What a joke. Do you know how high Jianhua's talent is? How can a trash outer sect disciple like you compare to him? Elder Qi helped Liao Jianhua up and looked at him coldly. Talent? I only know that he's a loser. What talent is there to talk about? In this world, there are only winners and losers. If not for the sect leader, he would be a pile of minced meat right now. Lin Shen dared to speak to Elder Qi in such a manner. This caused some of the inner sect disciples to break out in cold sweat. Just as Elder Qi was about to explode, Liao Jianhua, who had just been helped up, spoke with a hoarse voice filled with resentment. Lin Shen, you only have a little bit of brute force. Other than the way of the sword, I'm also an honorable alchemist. Why do you have to be on the same level as me? Sect leader, Jianhua pleads the sect leader to kill this kid. The sect leader of the Shenwu sect glanced at him and said indifferently, Liao Jianhua, it's not up to you to tell me what to do. Liao Jianhua was stunned and suppressed his killing intent. A desire to kill the sect leader flashed across his mind. Haha, what's so great about being an alchemist? I know how to refine medicine too. Lin Shen's words were shocking and caused a huge commotion. He's an alchemist? You know how to refine medicine? The sect leader looked at Lin Shen in astonishment and nodded his head calmly. Alchemists were one of the rarest and most honorable professions in the Jiuzhou continent. The requirements to become an alchemist were extremely harsh. Coupled with the rarity of the alchemy handprints, an alchemist was 1 in a million. After hundreds of years of accumulation, the Shinwu sect only had two alchemists. If Liao Jianhua was included, that would be the third. Nowadays, any Tom, Dick, or Harry dares to call themselves an alchemist. Elder Qi laughed coldly, obviously not taking Lin Chen seriously. If you're not convinced, let's continue with the second round. Let's see who's better at refining medicine. However, I want this round to be a life and death match. The loser has no right to live. Do you dare to accept? Lin Chen's expression was grave and stern. His words shocked all the disciples. Don't tell me he knows how to refine medicine. That's impossible. He didn't even have the chance to see heavenly treasures since he was young. How could he know how to refine medicine? Su Qing'er was in disbelief. The two of them grew up together, and she had seen with her own eyes what kind of person Lin Shan was. How could he be an alchemist? Why would I be afraid of a wild dog like you? Do you really think you're so great just because you have some brute strength? Refining medicine and martial arts are two different things. Liao Jianhua laughed coldly and patted the dust off his shoulders. It was as though he had found his home ground and looked at Lin Shan with disdain. Since you want to compete, let's compete in refining medicine 2 days later. The sect leader will personally host the competition. Lin Chen versus Liao Jianhua. In refining medicine, the pill formula and herbs will be decided by the sect. The one with the highest quality medicine will be the winner. In a life and death match, the loser's life will be handed over to the winner. Elder Qi interjected before the sect leader could speak, after which he glanced at Lin Chen. How about it? No problem, right? Lin Chen's heart skipped a beat. This old man must be up to no good. However, why should he be afraid of him? No problem. I hope you won't regret it when the time comes. The moment he said that, the entire crowd was shocked. An outer sect disciple who appeared out of nowhere not only defeated the new strongest inner sect disciple, Liao Jianhua, but also wanted to compete in refining medicine. The sect leader looked at the two of them with interest. After instructing Lin Shan, he returned to the high platform. Lin Shan did not even turn his head as he jumped down from the arena. When he walked towards the resting area, he saw Su Qing'er standing there in a daze. Suddenly, Su Qing'er saw Lin Chen's cold eyes that were as sharp as a knife, and her delicate body trembled. She felt a sense of unfamiliarity and hostility from Lin Shan that she had never felt before. In the past, Lin Shan would never treat her like this. It was as though the Lin Shan in front of her was a completely different stranger. When the two of them brushed past each other, Lin Chen's indifferent and cold words entered Su Qing'er's ears. A fine bird chooses a tree to nest in. If you want to leave, I won't blame you. However, you chose the wrong way. The so-called genius that you chose, I will step on him like how I did just now. As for you, you are just a pathetic woman that is not worth mentioning. At the end of his speech, Lin Shan did not even look at Su Qing'er in the eye. Her beautiful face was pale, and she pursed her red lips. No one knew what she was thinking. Chapter 10. The intersect ranking competition only ended the next morning. With the battle between Lin Shan and Liao Jianhua, the rest of the elite disciples were still lacking compared to the previous two. Furthermore, most of them were looking forward to the unprecedented alchemy duel in the history of the Shinwu sect. In the outer sect disciples' simple dormitory, Lin Shan sat down cross-legged and opened the system status bar. Host, Lin Shan Cultivation. Qi Cultivation Stage 1 Maximum Strength. 1253 Tiger Power Qi in Blood. 55884 Cultivation Method Essence. 552 points. Battle Qi Essence. 15465 Spiritual Power. 1799 Mental Cultivation Method. None Battle Skills. Windbreaker Kick, perfected. Breeze Dust Step, perfected. Starfire Spear Technique, perfected. Myriad Thunder Sword Technique, perfected. Owned items, Secret Manual Windwalk Shoes, Heavenly Spirit Pill Transformation Technique, True Water Technique, 10%, Bloodline. Green Dragon Bloodline, 45 points. Elemental Energy, 2,995 points for Fire, 1,871 points for Earth, 2,242 points for Wood, 3,156 points for Metal, 2,462 point for water. After Lin Shun confirmed that no one was watching him, he swallowed a qi replenishing pill and activated the true water technique. His injuries healed rapidly. The recovery speed of this true water technique is not to be underestimated. I'm afraid it's worth much more than my heavenly spirit pill transformation technique. Lin Chen's injuries healed in the blink of an eye. The true water technique's healing effect was superb. Lin Shun did not dare to use such a miraculous secret manual in public. The battle chi essence this time is enough for me to break through to the next level. Let's cultivate first. Lin Shin took a deep breath and quickly absorbed all the battle chi attribute light balls stored in the system's storage space. The sea of chi in his dantian trembled and began to split into a second tier. In the blink of an eye, 2 days passed. Lin Shin stepped into the second tier of the chi cultivation stage and even cultivated the true water technique. Early morning at the intersect ranking competition grounds. Just like before, practically all the disciples of the Xinwu sect were seated here, and no one was willing to miss this unprecedented competition in alchemy. Today, one of the 2 heaven-defying geniuses of the Xinwu sect would fall here. On the 7th arena, there were 2 jade tables filled with 7 to 8 rare medicinal herbs, an ancient bronze alchemy furnace, and a pill recipe rolled up in green jade. Liao Jianhua's figure was tall and straight, standing against the wind. He was unruly and arrogant, completely looking down on everything with disdain, because his natural talent in alchemy even surpassed his natural talent in the sword Dao. Lin Shun was unperturbed as he slowly stepped onto the stage. Today's alchemy competition is to refine my Xinwu sect's low-level rank 2 pill, the Spirit Void pill. Both parties will have 3 sets of medicinal ingredients. If the medicinal ingredients are used up, the competition will be considered a failure. If both parties can refine a finished pill, the competition will be based on the quality. If they were evenly matched in terms of quality, the winner would be decided by the speed of the refining process. The time limit for refining medicine is 3 days. Elder Qi stood in the middle of the stage and announced to the audience. He was personally hosting this alchemy competition. Now, let the competition begin. Once the 3 words Spirit Void Pill were announced, it immediately caused a heated discussion among the disciples. Even the expressions of the elders changed slightly. In the world of the 9 continents, medicinal pills were extremely precious resources. Even the lowest level of level 1 medicinal pills required one to be at least in the qi refining stage to consume them. Body tempering stage disciples were unable to truly refine the energy contained within a medicinal pill. Body tempering stage disciples were only fit to consume the dregs of failed refining pills to cultivate. Level 2 medicinal pills were already in the realm of spirit detecting stage experts. This clearly meant that Lin Shun was going to lose. Lin Shun narrowed his eyes. Although he couldn't see it on the surface, his spiritual perception was extremely sharp. Just by the fragrance and energy fluctuations of the herbs, he could tell that all the herbs prepared for him in this competition were of inferior quality. This old dog wants to trick me. He gave me these inferior medicinal ingredients for level 2 medicinal pills. It's obvious that he wants to mess with me. After seeing through Elder Qi's true scheme, Lin Shen's lips curved up in a sneer. On the other side, Liao Jianhua had already picked up the pill recipe and began to read it with his spiritual force. He was full of energy and was in high spirits. It was clear that he had taken some sort of pill that temporarily increased his spiritual force. It looks like I won't be able to use the pill furnace. I only have 3 sets of medicinal ingredients, so I can't recklessly take the risk. Lin Shin glanced at the pill furnace. He no longer had any expectations for this thing. Now that things had come to this, he could only rely on his bare hands to refine the pill. Opening the pill recipe, Lin Shun released his spiritual force into the pill recipe and began to read the contents. Before a moment had passed, Liao Jianhua had already finished reading the pill recipe. From his expression, it was clear that he already knew the contents of the competition ahead of time. Liao Jianhua, casually grabbed a handful of medicinal ingredients and began to refine. His face was cold and arrogant. It was clear that he had the posture of a grandmaster. His 4 fingers intertwined as he activated the alchemy hand seals, attracting the attention of many. Putting a green spirit jade vine into the pill furnace, Liao Jianhua's 8 fingers moved rapidly as he carefully controlled the refinement of the green spirit jade vine. The high-grade yellow-level alchemy hand seal, 8 sections brocade hand seal, is so fast. This is the second-ranked alchemy hand seal in our Shenwu sect, right? Senior brother Liao Jianhua is only in his early 20s, yet he has such talent. He is not inferior to the 2 alchemy elders. Seeing Liao Jianhua's alchemy hand seal, many disciples could only look up and exclaim in admiration. On the other side, Lin Shun used twice the time Liao Jianhua took to finish reading the entire pill recipe. He also grabbed the first medicinal ingredient, the green spirit jade vine, and formed a seal with his 10 fingers. A pure white battle chi and spiritual force gushed out and wrapped around the green spirit jade vine. Seeing this scene, many disciples were stunned. What the hell is Lin Shen doing? He started to use alchemy hand seals without using the pill furnace? Su Qinger's pretty eyes stared fixedly at Lin Shen. She absolutely did not believe that an ordinary person could suddenly transform into an honorable alchemist. His fingertips moved quickly, and following the changes in Lin Shen's hand seals and spiritual force, the impurities of the green spirit jade vine began to be removed. Ignoring the surrounding gazes, Lin Shen also began to enter the alchemy process, concentrating fully. How? How is this possible? This kid is actually an alchemist, and he doesn't look like a newbie at all. The alchemy hand seal he used is also not any of the alchemy hand seals in the sect. The few elders of the Shenwu sect looked at Lin Shen in a new light and nodded their heads in praise. However, Elder Chi's expression was somewhat gloomy. For today, he specially took out the best quality pill that could temporarily increase spiritual force that he had kept for many years and used it on Liao Jianhua. In less than 2 hours, the two of them almost threw in the second medicinal ingredient at the same time. They used the same amount of time. That outer sect disciple Lin Shen actually caught up with senior Liao Jianhua. Don't keep calling him an outer sect disciple. He has already defeated Liao Jianhua in terms of combat power. If we really want to talk about it, he is currently the strongest existence among the disciples of the Shenwu sect. To be able to catch up with Liao Jianhua's speed without using an alchemy furnace, this kid's alchemy hand seals are at least at the top of the yellow level. No, it's highly possible that it's at the green level. Some of the disciples and elders were secretly shocked. At this moment, no one dared to look down on Lin Shen's strength and potential. Everyone could see that Lin Shen was obviously more outstanding because he did not even use an alchemy furnace. Yet he was able to catch up with Liao Jianhua under such circumstances. His alchemy hand seals and talent were definitely not inferior to Liao Jianhua's. The actual situation was even worse because the medicinal ingredients that were prepared for Lin Shen were more than twice as rough as Liao Jianhua's. Chi. After the 8th hour, Lin Shen and Liao Jianhua both made mistakes while refining the 4th medicinal ingredient and failed. Liao Jianhua's success rate for the Spirit Void pill was less than 30%. Even if he used a top-grade pill to temporarily increase his mental strength, the success rate was at most 60%. Liao Jianhua let out a deep breath and quickly reorganized himself. He threw in another precious ingredient and started refining again. Lin Shen also discovered the difficulty of this pill and frowned slightly as beads of sweat rolled down his forehead. Compared to Liao Jianhua, who had prepared beforehand, this was Lin Shen's first time coming into contact with a level 2 pill recipe. The difficulty level was much more severe. Furthermore, he could not use an alchemy furnace, so the mental strength consumption was much greater than Liao Jianhua's. Just as Lin Shen was about to start the second set of ingredients and stake it all on one throw, he looked in Liao Jianhua's direction, and his eyes suddenly lit up. The ground around Liao Jianhua was actually filled with attribute light balls. These attribute light balls are all mental strength attribute light balls. Chapter 11. At the end of the road, there was a glimmer of hope at the end of the tunnel. Just as Lin Shun was about to fight to the death, he actually saw spiritual energy attribute light balls all over the ground. Damn, this is simply too satisfying. Lin Shun, whose eyes were shining, suddenly stopped what he was doing and walked towards Liao Jianhua. What is he trying to do? Could it be that after failing once, he's going to give up on everything? The elders were very puzzled. Just as Elder Qi was about to berate Lin Shun, he was stopped by the Shenwu sect leader. This kid doesn't have any killing intent. He shouldn't be trying to break the rules. Let's wait and see. Everyone watched as Lin Shun approached Liao Jianhua. Even Liao Jianhua himself was wary of him and berated him. Why are you getting close to me? Are you trying to break the rules? Lin Shun chuckled. You refine your medicine. I'll take my walk. I didn't break the rules. After speaking, Lin Shun bent down and picked up a spiritual energy attribute light ball. The system screen popped up. Host received 93 points of spiritual energy. Lin Shun picked up the attribute light balls around Liao Jianhua one after another. There were a total of 6, and all of them were high-quality spiritual energy attribute light balls. Lin Shun picked up 573 points of spiritual energy in one go. The mental exhaustion caused by refining medicine had been completely recovered, and his spiritual energy had increased by another level. Oh my, so there are so many spirit attribute light orbs that drop when an alchemist is refining medicine. Lin Shun simply sat on the ground and looked at Liao Jianhua with a smile. What was he doing? All the elders and observing disciples were dumbfounded. Was he trying to give up on himself? But looking at Lin Shun's face, he was smiling like a rose. It didn't look like he was giving up on himself at all. Is this Lin Shun's brain not working well? Why is he staring at Liao Jianhua while refining medicine? Is he trying to secretly learn Liao Jianhua's refining technique? That's impossible. Alchemists use different alchemy techniques when refining pills. Their control over their mental strength is even more different. How could they steal it? Even the 2 alchemy elders were unable to see through Lin Shun's intentions. Although Liao Jianhua was unhappy with Lin Shun staying by his side, making him waste his time would only increase his chances of success. Elder Qi signaled with his eyes. 2 elders at the 9th level of the Qi refining realm stood beside the arena. If Lin Shun did anything that violated the rules, they would immediately stop him. However, Lin Shun didn't do what everyone thought. He just smiled and stayed by Liao Jianhua's side. From time to time, he would stand up and bend down to grab at the air. Other than that, he didn't do anything that violated the rules. This scene made Cheng Yin, Yu Ying, and the other outer sect disciples at the training field that day think of Lin Shun. Time passed. After a day and a night, Liao Jianhua experienced 2 consecutive failures. Finally, on his 3rd attempt, he began to condense an embryonic pill. It wasn't even a day until the end of the competition, just as some people were beginning to leave in disappointment, as if they could foresee the result. Lin Shun finally stood up and returned to his alchemy platform. This kid is finally going to start refining pills, but his time doesn't allow him to make a single mistake. Once he fails, Liao Jianhua will definitely win this competition. The 2 alchemy elders squinted their eyes. The sect leader of the Shenwu sect looked at him with interest. Grabbing the first herb, Lin Shun's lips curled into a confident smile. I obtained 1369 points of mental strength. My 1 day and 1 night of waiting was not in vain. It's my turn now. Clasping his fingers together, Lin Shun formed a seal. His majestic mental strength and flowing battle chi wrapped around the first herb. Following that, Lin Shun grabbed a handful of mysterious chalcedony and mixed them together. The impurities of the 2 treasures turned into streaks of gray air and were expelled at the same time. Compared to before, Lin Chen's refining speed was more than twice as fast. With a breakthrough in his mental strength, he could use the intermediate green-level alchemy hand seal more easily. He's actually refining 2 herbs at the same time without a furnace. Green-level alchemy hand seal. This kid is definitely using the green-level alchemy hand seal. The 2 alchemy elders were shocked speechless. Their fanatical eyes revealed a trace of greed. Damn it, is this guy looking down on me these past few days? He's only starting now. Jealousy and hatred flashed across Liao Jianhua's eyes. Lin Chun completely ignored the gazes of the people around him. His fingers moved rapidly as he manipulated his battle chi to pierce through the Tier 2 sunflower spirit grass in front of him like a needle. He directly cut off a portion of the sunflower spirit grass and decisively abandoned it. Abandoning a part of the medicinal ingredients will lead to a lack of energy and a failure of the concoction. The sect leader of the Shenwu sect noticed this detail from Lin Chun and was puzzled. Bang! With one hand holding the energy essence liquid, Lin Chun slapped the medicine table and threw another stalk of sunflower spirit grass into the refining process. This time, it was the same as before. Lin Chun also removed a portion of the sunflower herb and combined the 2 sets of herbs into one. The pill formulas for the competition could not be faked, but the herbs could be tampered with. In order to let Liao Jianhua maintain the absolute advantage, Elder Qi had given Lin Chun all the herbs that were of inferior quality. The success rate of refining was extremely low. And even if he succeeded, the quality of the pill would definitely not be as good as Liao Jianhua's. He's actually using 2 sets of herbs to refine the Spirit Void pill. The 2 alchemy elders looked at each other and saw the shock in each other's eyes. But to use 2 sets of herbs to refine a single pill, one had to be extremely precise in the fusion process. Only those with extraordinary mental strength could do it. Seeing that Lin Chun had used all the herbs in one go, even the outsiders could tell what Lin Chun was doing. Many of the outer sect disciples even stood up and cheered excitedly. If Lin Chun could surpass Liao Jianhua in refining pills, it would symbolize the rise of the outer sect disciples. Such an exciting event caused countless outer sect disciples to look at Lin Chun with a fiery passion. Time passed second by second. Lin Chun's forehead was dripping with sweat as he concentrated on controlling the fusion of all the herbs into one. Boom! A refreshing gust of wind with a thick medicinal fragrance swept through the entire area. Both of them had successfully refined their pills at the same time. You want to beat me? It's not that easy. Liao Jianhua's face was filled with arrogance and confidence. 2 light green pills floated in the air. Based on the ripples of energy, both of them were evenly matched. Even the sect leader of the Shenwu sect could not tell the difference. Lin Chun had only managed to match Liao Jianhua's after combining the 2 sets of herbs into one. Obviously, the herbs he used were not of inferior quality. They were the best of the best. This brat actually succeeded in refining it. However, at least it's not the worst outcome. My disciple, Jianhua, can at least tie. Elder Qi's gaze towards Lin Chun flashed with a hint of killing intent. It seems like it's a tie. That's good too. Both of them are the top geniuses of the Shenwu sect. Losing one of them is a huge loss. It's good that it's a tie. While no one could see the outcome of the battle, Lin Chun held the light green void spirit pill in one hand, and his laughter resounded throughout the entire arena. The show has just begun. Everyone, please watch carefully. Lin Chun opened his palm. A green light flashed in the middle of his palm. A majestic and pure energy rippled out like a hurricane, directly suppressing Liao Jianhua. What? Liao Jianhua and Elder Qi were shocked speechless. The most important difference between green and yellow level pill refining hand seals was not only the speed of refining pills. More importantly, it was the unique value it contained. Every green level pill refining hand seal had its own unique benefits. However, Lin Chen's Heavenly Spirit pill transmutation technique allowed him to extract a trace of heaven and earth spiritual qi during the refining process and merge it with his own spiritual energy. From there, he could stimulate the spiritual energy and potential of the herbs, causing them to have more than 40% more energy than the original herbs. Chapter 12. At this moment, the entire arena was in an uproar. The situation had taken a dramatic turn. The quality of Lin Chen's Void Spirit Pill was far superior to Liao Jianhua's. Lin Chen, Lin Chen, Lin Chen. All the outer sect disciples present were shouting Lin Chen's name. Today was the day that the outer sect disciples had completely surpassed the inner sect disciples. How is this possible? How is this possible? Master said that I'm a 1 in a million alchemy geniuses. How can I lose to a wild dog that climbed up from the outer sect? Liao Jianhua's face was pale as he muttered to himself in a daze. When some people's arrogance was broken, they would become extremely weak. Su Qing'er gazed at Lin Chen, who was being watched by thousands of people. The young man's back was calm and composed. He was not proud of himself at all. He was calm and unperturbed, full of mystery. If only I had not coveted Liao Jianhua's potential. Su Qing'er, who was filled with endless bitterness, finally could not help but sob softly. At this moment, Lin Chen, who was enjoying all the attention, was not complacent because of this. The moment he revealed the quality of his Void Spirit Pill, his murderous intent was revealed. Green Dragon Bloodline Release. 70% of strength. The entire arena was instantly engulfed in an endless vortex of murderous aura and the roar of an angry dragon. Lin Chen's figure turned into an afterimage. His left arm was covered with faint green dragon scales. He brazenly struck out with his palm, causing the air to explode and the airflow to collapse. The cheers of the entire arena stopped abruptly. No one had expected Lin Chen to suddenly strike. When everyone reacted, Lin Chen was only a few meters away from Liao Jianhua. Even Elder Qi could not react in time to stop him. Liao Jianhua, who was on the verge of collapse, had just reacted when the green-scaled palm containing more than 4,000 tiger strength violently struck his head. Bam! A dull sound rang out. Lin Chen's palm had shattered Liao Jianhua's body. The latter did not even have time to cry out. All his flesh and bones were instantly crushed, turning into a pool of blood. At the moment of Liao Jianhua's death, Lin Chen's body unconsciously trembled. It was as if some shackles and knots in his heart had been untied, and his heart had become even more mellow. The dead Liao Jianhua dropped 6 attribute light orbs and a light cyan treasure chest, which Lin Chen caught. Host received 5,442 points of HP, 584 points of spiritual power, 2,344 points of battle aura essence, 3,044 points of cultivation method essence, and 1 black iron treasure chest. The host has opened the black iron treasure chest and obtained the green intermediate body movement technique, Wind, Thunder, Fire Steps. After killing Liao Jianhua, the first thing Lin Chen did was to refine his elemental ball of light. His aura surged, and the sea of battle qi in his dantian trembled slightly. It was about to split apart again. At the same time, he focused all of his attention on the battle formation. He absorbed the energy of the blood essence and continuously strengthened the strength of the Azure Dragon Arm, guarding against Elder Qi's counterattack. The entire audience fell into a brief silence. Many disciples were intimidated by Lin Chen's decisiveness in killing. 2 breaths later, a mournful roar could be heard. Bastard! How dare you kill Jianhua? I'll kill you. Elder Qi was in a frenzy. His battle aura surged wildly. Just as he was about to kill Lin Chen, a palm landed on Elder Qi's body. Elder Qi, are you going to disregard my words? The sect leaders in different voice woke Elder Qi up from his madness. Sect leader, Jianhua is our sect's peerless genius. How can we let this brat? But I've given you a chance, haven't I? Moreover, we have a better genius than Liao Jianhua now. The sect leader interrupted Elder Qi's unwilling debate. His calm voice contained an unquestionable majesty. This Then I'll listen to the sect leader's decision." Elder Chi fiercely gritted his teeth. He shot a vicious glare at Lin Chun before he flicked his sleeves and left. Although Elder Chi's position was high, the sect leader was the only Battle Soul Realm elite in the Shenwu sect. His words were countless times more important than anyone else's. Hee. Lin Chun killed Liao Jianhua for the result of the alchemy bet. Today, I'll personally announce that Lin Chun has been promoted from an outer sect disciple to the strongest inner sect disciple. There must be no mistakes. The sect leader waved his hand and announced the result. Lin Chun secretly heaved a sigh of relief. The sect leader didn't even bat an eyelid at Liao Jianhua's death. His ruthless nature was fully revealed. "Lin Chun, follow me to the Green Cloud Hall. I have something to discuss with you." The sect leader called out Lin Chun. Many inner sect disciples looked at him with envy. To be able to gain the sect leader's favor was the best opportunity to soar in the Shenwu sect. Lin Chun's heart skipped a beat as he nodded without batting an eyelid. Looking at Lin Chun's back view as he left with the sect leader, the disciples gradually dispersed. Shenwu sect, Green Jade Hall, on a mountain peak located in the middle of the mountain range. All the elders had left, leaving only Lin Chun and the sect leader. "Lin Chun, come with me for a trip." The sect leader led Lin Chun out of the hall and towards the peak of the mountain. Lin Chun had doubts in his heart, but he didn't dare to be careless as he followed the sect leader. As the two moved forward, Lin Chun felt that there was a mysterious force at the peak of the mountain that was restricting his and the sect leader's movements. Walking became more and more difficult, as if he was walking with hundreds of thousands of pounds of weight under his feet. It was as if there was an invisible force that was preventing Lin Chun from moving forward. If not for the fact that Lin Chun's shell was stronger than the average person's, he would have to circulate his battle chi to walk. Finally, the two of them stood at the bottom of an altar at 500 steps. When he saw the altar, Lin Chun's eyes lit up. Every step under the altar was filled with a large number of attribute light balls. There were at least a few hundred of them. There were also 3 treasure chests floating in the air. Damn it, there are so many attribute light balls. If I can pick them all up, my strength will double again. Licking his lips, Lin Chun was ecstatic. This altar has existed since the creation of the Shenwu sect. In the dozens of generations of disciples, no one has been able to climb it. We also don't know what's at the top. You're the most outstanding disciple of the Shenwu sect, so I want you to give it a try. Only the younger generation can climb this altar. Us old fellows can't. The sect leader turned to Lin Chun and smiled. Lin Chun nodded without hesitation. "All right, I'll give it a try." Regardless of what treasures were at the top, the dazzling array of attribute light balls alone was worth Lin Chun's effort. He lifted his foot and stepped onto the first step. The surging pressure pressed down on every pore of his body, but Lin Chun, who had the strength of over 1,000 tigers, did not feel too much pressure. He bent down and picked up more than 10 attribute light balls in a row. Then, the second step, the third step, the fourth step. Lin Chun didn't hesitate to bend down and pick up the light balls in front of the sect leader. Host received 5,422 points of chi and blood, 754 points of water-type energy, 578 battle essence, 972 points of ability essence, 355 points of spiritual power. Host opened the black iron treasure chest. Received top green battle technique for King's Battle Seal. It was simply too good. If the sect leader wasn't here, Lin Chun would be grinning from ear to ear. He picked up the attribute light balls crazily and completely ignored the pressure from the altar. 80 steps, 100 steps, 150 steps, he climbed higher and higher. How did this kid's strength soar so quickly? Could it be that he saw through the secrets and opportunities of this altar? The sect leader was bewildered. Chapter 13. Even the sect master was dumbfounded when he saw Lin Chun's aura skyrocketing. Lin Chun's physical strength and battle chi cultivation had both broken through at the same time. His battle chi cultivation had entered the 3rd tier of the chi cultivation realm, and his physical strength had broken through 1,900 tiger power. Lin Chun rushed all the way to the 400th step and obtained another green-black iron treasure chest. Host has opened the black iron treasure chest. Obtained. Rank 3 Intermediate Rank 4 Battle Spear. 7-star Soul Seizing Spear Manual. The second black iron treasure chest rewards were even more bountiful, causing Lin Chen's pupils to tremble slightly. When he reached the 460th step, Lin Chen obtained the last treasure chest. This treasure chest was completely different from the previous ones. It was completely black, simple and unadorned, and exuded a primordial aura. What a mysterious treasure chest. What kind of treasure is inside? When Lin Chen opened it, a screen popped up from the system. Host has opened the primordial treasure chest. Obtained. Incomplete primordial cultivation technique. Intermediate green rank. Primal 5 spirit technique. The treasure he obtained this time made Lin Chen suck in a breath of cold air. Intermediate green rank. And it was the rarest and most precious cultivation technique manual. Oh my god, I've really hit the jackpot this time. Lin Chen's heart trembled as he walked towards the altar at the top of the mountain again. The closer he got to the top, the higher the quality of the attribute light balls and treasures Lin Chen obtained. These were most likely left behind by the top disciples of the previous generation of the Shenwu sect, or they were left behind by the ancestors of the Shenwu sect. When he reached the 493rd step, there was not a single attribute light ball left, and the pressure on Lin Chen had reached a terrifying level. I won't be able to reach the end if this goes on. Green Dragon Bloodline Release, 70% of strength. Boom! A terrifying aura surged out. Lin Chen reached out and grabbed the 497th step, using the strength of the Green Dragon Arm to push himself up. The ancient altar exuded an ancient and unchanging aura. Lin Chen collapsed on top of it, gasping for breath. Even moving a finger required a huge amount of energy. Lin Chen was lying on the ground, recovering his strength. In the middle of the altar, there was a ball of light with an attribute he had never seen before. It was about the size of a fist. Ancient runes that looked like tadpoles wriggled inside the elemental ball of light, releasing a grayish-white light that only Lin Chen could see. All the pressure coming from the altar came from this elemental ball of light. What kind of attribute is this? Lin Chen had never seen an elemental ball like this before. It was similar to the Azure Dragon Bloodline elemental ball he had obtained earlier. Both of them emitted a unique glow. After resting for a quarter of an hour, Lin Chen struggled to get up. Although he walked slowly, he could still move. He slowly approached the attribute ball of light and finally grabbed it in his palm. Congratulations, host. You have obtained the slow characteristic rune. Rune level 1. Characteristic rune? What attribute is this? Lin Chen was dumbfounded. He opened the system. Host. Lin Chen cultivation level. 3rd level Qi refinement, stage maximum strength. 2179 tiger power. Vitality. 105,884 points. Battle Qi essence. 42,465 points. Spiritual power. 4,209 points. Ability essence. 20,386 points. Mental cultivation method. None. Cultivation method. Myriad Thunder Sword Technique. Perfect level. Heavenly Spirit Pill Transformation Technique. True Water Origin Technique. 10%. Possessed items. Secret Manual Windwalk Shoes. 7-star Soul Seizing Spear. Soul Seizing Spear Manual. Demon Fighting 4 Kings Seal. Chaotic 5 Spirit Technique. Bloodline Possessed. Azure Dragon Bloodline. 45 points. Characteristic Rune. Slow Rune. Level 1. Rune Energy 500 points. Elemental Energy. Fire 8,268 points. Earth 6,471 points. Wood 6,325 points. Metal 7,266 points. Water 8,432 points. System notification. Characteristic runes are one of the host's attribute abilities. They are unique and can be added to the host's battle chi attack or used on its own. Slow rune. When the slow rune is used, it can cause a specific strong person or a specific area to fall into a slow state. The system's explanation made Lin Chen's jaw drop. The power of this characteristic rune was probably terrifyingly strong. If it could cause the enemy to fall into a slow state at a critical moment, it would be enough to affect the outcome of the battle. This time's harvest has increased my strength by at least a few times. Lin Chen simply sat cross-legged on the altar. Who knew if the sect leader would fall out with him on the spot? The most important thing was to convert the attributes he had just obtained into battle strength. System, I want to cultivate the chaotic 5-spirit technique. Host is cultivating the chaotic 5-spirit technique, consuming 13,000 skill essence and 3,000 metal, wood, water, fire, and earth elemental energy. Enlightening new cultivation memories flowed into Lin Chen's mind. The sea of qi in his dantian began to fluctuate and transform, constantly expanding until it was several times bigger than before. At the same time, the sea of qi became colorful and finally condensed all the elemental energy in the sea of qi. Chaotic 5-spirit technique, able to cultivate battle qi of 5 attributes: metal, wood, water, fire, and earth. The more elemental energy absorbed, the stronger the battle qi attribute. Lin Chen opened his eyes. An orange-red battle qi flame was burning in the center of his palm, following which it transformed into a golden lotus, vivid and lifelike. My battle qi has an attribute. The power of my battle skills has increased by several times. Combined with the strength of my flesh shell, my battle prowess has increased by several folds. Lin Chen's eyes lit up. The increase brought about by the green rank mental cultivation method could already be described as terrifying. Lin Chen did not use any battle skills and only used his battle qi to attack, but the power was not inferior to the myriad lightning Qianjun sword that he had previously used with all his strength. If this power was added to a green rank battle skill that was several times stronger than a green rank battle skill, Lin Chen's battle prowess would increase by more than 10 times. Lin Chen continued to sit cross-legged on the altar. The disappearance of the slow rune had reduced the pressure here, so he had to make good use of his time. System, I want to cultivate the 3 green rank battle skills: Soul-Seizing Spear Manual, 4 Kings War Demon Seal, and Wind Thunderfire Steps. System notification: insufficient skill essence. Unable to completely cultivate the 3 battle skills: Soul-Seizing Spear Manual or 4 Kings War Demon Seal. 1 battle skill cannot be cultivated to perfection. Please choose. You don't have enough cultivation soul essences? Then I'll first learn the Soul-Seizing Spear Manual and the 4 Kings War Demon Seal. Below the altar, the sect leader saw that Lin Chen had not moved for a long time after he climbed up the altar. Is there some danger up there? Did something happen to this kid? The sect leader frowned, but he suddenly realized that the pressure on the altar was gradually decreasing. The altar's restriction is gradually disintegrating. Seeing this, the sect leader was about to wait for the altar's restriction to be lifted before rushing up to check on Lin Chen's situation, but his figure finally appeared on the stairs. Leaping into the air, Lin Chen's body was like a gust of wind, and in the blink of an eye, he was in front of the sect leader. How is it? Are you okay? Did you find anything or treasure up there? The sect leader asked with rare excitement. Lin Chen shook his head slightly, reporting to the sect leader there was nothing on the altar. When I climbed up, I was suppressed by the pressure and couldn't move, but I don't know why. But after a quarter of an hour, it gradually disappeared, and I came down. No treasure? How is that possible? The sect leader's eyes instantly sharpened, as if he wanted to see through all the secrets on Lin Chen's body. However, Lin Chen's body was completely empty, and there was indeed no place to hide anything. With his previous identity as an outer sect disciple, he obviously did not have the foundation to possess a spirit receiving ring. Strictly speaking, there was indeed nothing on the altar. In fact, only Lin Chen could see and take that characteristic rune. Facing the sect leader's gaze, Lin Shun was neither servile nor overbearing, and even had the feeling that he was not afraid of the other party. Chapter 14. This kid can actually remain calm under my gaze. He's different from before. He's transformed again. The sect leader was shocked and asked seriously, "Then why did you have a breakthrough in your cultivation when you went up?" "I don't know either. I only felt a surge of energy entering my body and guiding me to the top of the altar. I don't remember anything else." Lin Chen shrugged. He had already decided to bluff his way out. With his current strength, if the sect leader really wanted to make things difficult for him, he might not be afraid of him. After taking a deep look at Lin Shun, the sect leader regained his usual calm demeanor and nodded. Perhaps you're fated with the Shinwu sect. This is an opportunity given to you by our ancestors. You should keep it well." The sect leader changed the topic and continued. "Lin Shun, how do you think the Shinwu sect treats you?" Lin Shun was startled and asked seriously. "I'm an abandoned baby adopted by Steward Su of the Outer Sect. The Shinwu sect is like a big family to me." Lin Shun sneered in his heart. "Big family my ass. If it wasn't for my strength, I would have died in some corner long ago. No one would even bother to collect my corpse. I'm very satisfied that you're so considerate. However, since you consider the Shinwu sect to be your family, you should also contribute to this family, shouldn't you?" The sect leader's pleasant expression made Lin Chen's heart tighten. "If you can make a copy of your green tier alchemy handprint and leave it in the Shinwu sect, your contribution to the Shinwu sect will be unprecedented. If you contribute the alchemy handprint, the sect leader will also reward you with a spirit storage ring and various treasures in the sect storehouse. The sect leader will let you take them all. How about it?" As expected, this old fox was still thinking about his alchemy handprint. Lin Shun subconsciously took a few steps back and was on high alert. Should he fight, or should he feign civility first? All right, it's my wish to do something for the Shinwu sect. Lin Shun planned to feign civility first. If he started a fight now, it would do him more harm than good. The sect leader was overjoyed. Good. Sure enough, I didn't misjudge you. Good disciple, take this spirit storage ring first. If you want to choose the sect's secret cultivation method or various kinds of rare treasures, just let me know. Sect master, there's no time like the present. I like to go now. Oh, good. This sect master will bring you to the sect's treasure pavilion. The sect head brought Lin Shun to the places with the most treasures in the Shinwu sect. Lin Shun picked up more than 100 attribute light balls along the way, and he managed to max out his last battle technique, the Four King Seal of the Battle Demon. He picked out a large number of treasures to be used for alchemy. He also picked out a few advanced green-class combat skills, all of which were treasures of the Shinwu sect. After that, Lin Shun was arranged to stay in a secret room. Copying a green-rank alchemy handprint was not an ordinary task. It required one to use one's mental power to record the alchemy handprint's incantation and handprint, as well as a series of information, such as mental power control. 2 days later, Shinwu sect, in a secret room outside the Green Cloud Hall. Lin Shun pretended to be copying alchemy handprints, but in reality, he was secretly cultivating. How dare you put me under house arrest? Do you really think I'm an idiot? Sneering in his heart, Lin Shun was absorbing the last batch of battle chi essence. The sea of chi in his dantian was gradually splitting, and a fourth sea of chi was emerging. Not long after, Lin Shun officially stepped into the fourth tier of chi cultivation stage. He opened the system. Host, Lin Shun cultivation. Fourth tier of chi cultivation stage maximum strength. 2,509 Tiger Power Blood Chi. 1, 358, 884 Battle Chi Essence. 54, 253 Mental Power. 4, 854 Cultivation Method Soul Essence. 3,153 points Mental Cultivation Method. Chaotic 5 Spirits Technique, 8%. Cultivation Methods. Myriad Thunder Sword Technique. Heavenly Spirit Pill Transformation Technique. True Water Scripture, 10%. Soul Stealing Spear Manual, 4 King Seal of the Battle Demon. Owned items: Secret Manual Windwalk Shoes, 7-star Soul Stealing Spear Bloodline, Azure Dragon Bloodline, 45 points, Special Rune. Slow Rune Level 1. Rune Energy 500 points, Elemental Energy. Fire 12,451 points, Earth 11,771 points, Wood 10,225 points, Metal 10,489 points, Water 10,568 points. As my pure strength increases, my Azure Dragon Bloodline release will also increase my strength. And the more elemental energy light balls I collect, the more certain the growth of my mental cultivation method will be. It's time to leave the Shenwu sect. Lin Shun pulled out the 7-star Soul Stealing Spear from the system. The spear's body was long and slender, with 7 dazzling star jades embedded in the front and back. Other than the treasures he obtained from the treasure chests, Lin Shun's system could not store his other items. Lin Shun pushed open the door to the secret room. There were 2 spirit detecting stage elders guarding the door. "Oh, Lin Shun, why are you out?" Just as the 2 elders were puzzled, Lin Shun's killing intent was revealed. Azure Dragon Bloodline Release. Bang bang. 2 explosions filled the air with a thick smell of blood. The killing intent began to spread throughout the Shenwu sect. Lin Shun ran away. What? Didn't the sect leader want to groom him? Why did he run away? The sect leader ordered us to capture Lin Shun alive. Shenwu sect, halfway up the mountain. Many Shenwu sect disciples saw a large number of elders moving out and couldn't help but be puzzled. What was going on? Shua. An afterimage rushed down the mountain. 3 sword auras pierced through the air and slashed in front of the afterimage. The afterimage paused and jumped into the air. When it landed, all the nearby disciples could clearly see that it was Lin Shun. Traitor Lin Shun, you actually dared to attack the elders. How can you live up to the sect leader's grooming of you? The 3 spirit detecting realm elders used their movement techniques to charge over and sternly scolded. Grooming my ass. Aren't you just after my alchemy handprint? A bunch of shameless old dogs. Leave today. Those who block me will die. Lin Shun clasped his hands together, and a blazing energy crystal hand seal appeared. Lin Shun's palm slammed toward the 3 spirit detecting elders. Battle Demon Fire King Print. The Battle Chi energy handprint, which was about 10 feet long, brought with it rolling heat waves as it smashed towards the 3 elders. The 3 elders turned pale with fright. This brat could actually use such a terrifying battle skill? Bang! The energy handprint exploded, creating a huge pit. The 3 elders that were sent flying fell out of the charred black soil. All the disciples were dumbfounded. 3 spirit detecting stage, 1 elders were actually sent flying by Lin Shun. A few high-quality elemental balls flew out of the elders' bodies. Lin Shun jumped into the air and caught them. He was about to escape. Lin Shun, I thought you were a smart person. A figure appeared on the roof of the pavilion, halfway up the mountain like a ghost. It was the sect leader of the Shenwu sect. He looked down at Lin Shun from above. The space between his brows was filled with confidence and arrogance, as if he was in control of the entire situation. Don't you find it troublesome to take off your pants and fart, sect leader? If you want my alchemy handprint, then come and take it. Lin Shun raised his middle finger and laughed. He was secretly mobilizing the Azure Dragon Bloodline. The Battle Soul stage was not something the Spirit Detecting stage could compare to. Lin Shun's current attacks would not be able to shake the Battle Soul stage head-on. The only chance was to catch them off guard. Battle Demon Fire King Print. Lin Shun used all his strength to send out another palm. His aura was even stronger. The red energy handprint slapped down like 10,000 horses galloping. This move is at least a top-grade green rank battle technique. Even my sect doesn't have such a top-grade secret manual. It seems like you have a lot of secrets on you. Stay, Lin Shun. The sect leader sneered and waved his sleeve. Several white rays of light were like blades, easily tearing apart Lin Shun's Battle Demon Fire King print. At this moment, Slow Rune activated. Remaining rune energy, 450 points. A gray-white talisman appeared out of thin air. It was filled with ancient and cryptic runes that contained endless mysteries. It enveloped the space around the sect leader. His attacks, and even his movements, became incomparably slow. What is this? For the first time, shock and fear appeared on the usually calm face of the Shenwu sect's sect leader. Rip! The air collapsed and whistled. Lin Chen's body was like fire. Before the other party could react, his entire arm was covered with light green dragon scales, and his fingertips turned into dragon-shaped claws. Azure Dragon Bloodline Release. 100% of strength. The fiendish and violent power was like the roar of an angry dragon. Every dragon scale shone with the light of the ancient dragon clan. Lin Chun angrily slammed his palm onto the chest of the Shenwu sect's sect leader. Rumble. A hurricane swept across the entire mountainside. Waves of energy exploded in the air. Puchi, the sect leader of the Shenwu sect, spat out blood and retreated. The sound of bones breaking came from his chest. His entire body was like a cannonball as he was sent flying 1,000 meters away. The power of Lin Chen's palm had actually reached 18,000 tiger power. If an expert at the early stage of the battle soul stage didn't have any defensive methods to resist, this level of power was enough to heavily injure the opponent. After sending the sect leader flying with a palm strike, 2 attribute light balls also dropped from his body. Lin Chen casually caught them. Host has received 5 battle chi essence, 968 spiritual energy. After landing, Lin Chen's face was as pale as paper. He randomly stuffed a few recovery pills into his mouth and circulated the true water scripture. He immediately turned around and used his movement technique to quickly escape down the mountain. None of the disciples and elders present dared to stop him. Thousands of disciples were so shocked that they stood rooted to the ground. The 25th generation sect leader of the Shenwu sect, Su Qingfeng, a battle soul stage expert who founded the sect, was actually defeated by Lin Chun, who was not even 17 years old. It was unknown who it was in the crowd, but someone muttered to himself while sucking in cold air. This guy, is he still human? Chapter 15. Lin Chun sprinted all the way down the mountain and went straight into the Qingsha mountain range. Once he entered the mountain range, it was almost Lin Chen's home ground. He was like a dragon returning to the sea, roaming freely. There were large amounts of qi and blood attribute light balls here. Lin Chun could use them to recover his injuries and increase his battle resources. After leaving this time, if I encounter the Shenwu sect again, I can kill them with a flip of my hand. There's nothing to worry about. After Lin Chun picked up an attribute light ball, he sneered in his heart. Without strength, one was a lamb waiting to be slaughtered anywhere. I can't just randomly pick up attribute light balls like this. It's better to go to a place where the strong gather to collect better attribute light balls. After making up his mind, Lin Chun picked up the attribute light balls scattered around the mountain range. What made Lin Chun curious was that the Shenwu sect didn't send any experts to kill him. Elder Qi, who hated him to the bone and was at the 8th level of the spirit detecting realm, should be eager to capture him personally. Lin Chun didn't know that the day after he left the Shenwu sect. Inside the main hall. 2 beautiful figures stood in the center of the hall. The green-clothed woman's eyes were like limpid autumn waters. Her delicate green earrings revealed her snow-white and tender skin. Her eyebrows were like an ink painting of distant mountains. Her small oval face was beautiful enough to captivate even the birds and beasts. Her crescent-shaped mouth was slightly curled into a mischievous smile. The other girl had black hair that reached her waist. Her pair of purple, gem-like eyes were ethereal and elegant. It was as if one's soul would be at peace just by looking into her eyes. She was wearing a purple veil, so her true appearance couldn't be seen. However, with that almost perfect body proportion, it was hard to imagine how extraordinary her true appearance was. More importantly, this woman exuded a supreme nobility from her bones. This was not a pretentious posture, but a temperament that was drawn out from the depths of her body. What? What do you two mean? Why do you want to destroy my sect? The sect master of the Shenwu sect, Su Qingfeng, held his bloody abdomen and roared with extreme unwillingness and resentment. He was crippled by the two mysterious girls in one move. Moreover, it was done in the blink of an eye. We received feedback from the people nearby. You've bullied the people and raised taxes, causing the people in a radius of thousands of miles to be unable to make a living. Such a sect is nothing but a scourge. The girl in green smiled and continued. This is called enforcing justice on behalf of the heavens. Do you understand? Disband the sect within a day. Otherwise, all the elders of the sect will end up like you. At this moment, the woman with the purple veil spoke. Su Qingfeng gritted his teeth fiercely, and his eyes almost popped out of their sockets. As the sect master of his generation, he had actually been defeated by the hands of a few juniors one after another, and even his cultivation had been crippled. If he encountered his enemies, it would simply be a fate worse than death. Lin Shun, if it wasn't for you, you little bastard, injuring me, I wouldn't have been so helpless. Su Qingfeng let out a sorrowful wail and howled towards the sky. He actually took out a small knife from his bosom and stabbed it straight into his own heart, committing suicide on the spot. Sis, did he commit suicide? The green-clothed girl looked at the elegant woman in confusion. Those who are unjust are doomed to destruction. They bullied countless civilians and deserve this. But, in the hall, the girl's soft murmur echoed faintly. Who is Lin Shun? 5 days later, Lin Shun traveled thousands of miles in a day and left the Green Dawn Mountains, officially entering the Green Sun Mountains. There were more than 10,000 ancient mountains in the spiritual state barren realm. In some of the ancient mountains, there were terrifying scenes of many ancient species roaming everywhere. The number of ferocious beasts in the Green Sun Mountains far exceeded that of the Green Dawn Mountains. In addition, there was an ancient city that hadn't changed for thousands of years outside the mountains. This ancient city had been inhabited by many heretics since ancient times, making the Green Sun Mountains even more dangerous. However, for Lin Shun, he had picked up a large number of attribute light balls while staying here. The chi and blood energy he obtained increased the pure strength of his flesh shell to 3,600 tiger power. The pure strength of 3,600 tiger power was enough to defeat those in the spirit channeling state. In terms of battle force cultivation, Lin Shun had made rapid progress and reached the 5th level, only one step away from the 6th level of the chi refinement realm. The moonlight was slightly cold outside the Green Sun Mountains. Lin Shun had just killed a peak stage 2 flame leopard and was planning to have a barbecue tonight. As soon as the bonfire was set up, a woman's scream and a perverted man's lewd laughter could be heard from afar. Don't hurt senior sister. I'm going to call for help. Go ahead and call for help. Even if you scream yourself hoarse, no one will come to save you. Lin Shun was speechless. What year was it now? Why were people still saying lines from cheap movies? Lin Shun, who was about to ignore them, suddenly saw the source of the scream, emitting a light similar to an attribute light ball. There's treasure. Lin Shun's eyes lit up, and he jumped up. He attacked the source of the light. In a half-moon valley, under the moonlight, a group of blood-red figures surrounded 4 graceful figures. The leading woman, who was holding a sword and wearing a long dress, had a red mouth. Her snow-white legs were wrapped in soft silk, and her face was cold and elegant. However, her breathing was weak and she was heavily injured. The 3 young girls behind him were like frightened bunnies, trembling in fear. Wonderful, wonderful. With such a figure, I didn't expect to catch a woman from the Sparkle sect here. This young master can be dissolute for a while, ha. A red-clothed young man walked out from the group of blood-red figures. His face was pale, and his pupils were filled with a bloody intent. He was smiling evilly. If you dare to touch even a strand of Senior Sister Han's hair, our senior sister will definitely not forgive you. A white-clothed girl rushed out from behind the long-clothed woman. Her eyes were filled with tears, and she gritted her teeth as she stood in front of the sword-wielding woman. "If I catch all of you, how would your senior sister know that it was my blood sect that did this? Hee hee, what a good little lowly. Later, Big Brother will love you well." The red-clothed young man sized up the little girl and laughed lewdly. "Qingyun, I'll cover you later. You take junior sister and leave together." The long-clothed woman said coldly as she faced death calmly. The faces of the two girls behind her changed slightly. "But if that's the case, senior sister Han Yin, I can't care so much. If I hesitate any longer, everyone will die." Just when the long-clothed woman and Han Yin were about to fight to the death, a young man's laughter came from not far away. "Tonight's night is very good. It makes me and the other handsome guys can't help but say, wearing yellow curls at night, I'm waiting for the New Year's harvest. Avoiding cold and hunger, it's the boundless chi. Dragons are like apes, drinking the moon and entering the water." On the slope of the half-moon valley, the figure of a handsome and leisurely young man appeared, interrupting the atmosphere that was about to explode. "What the hell are you reciting? Where did this idiot come from? Get lost. You dare to meddle in my blood sect business? Die." The red-clothed young man casually glanced at Lin Shun and waved his hand disdainfully. In the air, the sound of wind and thunder could be faintly heard, and flashes of flame-like steps could be heard. When they met again, Lin Shun was already in the middle of the two sides. "If you don't understand, just connect the first word of the sentence and read it again." Lin Shun raised his eyebrows and said with a mocking smile, "The first word? Wearing yellow curls at night, I'm waiting for the New Year's harvest. Avoiding cold and hunger, it's the boundless chi. Dragons are like apes, drinking the moon and entering the water. Are you all trash?" Chapter 16. One of the two elders beside the red-clothed young man immediately reacted. "Young master, this kid is cursing us. Damn it. Someone dares to cause trouble for the blood sect in the Azure Sun Mountain Range? Let's kill this kid first." The red-clothed young man cursed ferociously as the 15 red-clothed men around him swarmed forward. "Run!" Seizing the opportunity when everyone's attention was on Lin Shun, Han Yin suddenly shouted and pushed away her junior sister and two junior sisters. Then, she stood back to back with Lin Shun. "Young hero, I will never forget your kindness for saving my life. You should run as well. I'll cover you." Before the woman could finish her words, a cold starlight flashed, and the 7-star soul reaping spear was grasped by Lin Shun. Soul reaping spear rain. The 7-star soul reaping spear in Lin Shen's hand flashed out a series of afterimages. The sky was filled with endless starlight and azure spear shadows. Like a violent storm, they instantly pierced through all the red-clothed men who were charging at him. All the red-clothed men's battle chi defenses were penetrated in an instant, and they died with their eyes wide open. Piles of attribute light balls fell from the sky and rolled to the ground. "What?" Han Yan's beautiful eyes trembled, and her cold face was filled with astonishment. 15 elite assassins above the 8th LV of Chi Refining Realm were killed by this young man in one move. "Not good. This kid's strength is terrifying. Young master, run." The expression of the elder beside the red-clothed young man changed slightly, and he pulled the red-clothed young man away quickly. "Want to run? Not so easy." The soul-reaping spear spun as Lin Shun released 30% of his Azure Dragon bloodline. His left arm angrily threw the soul-reaping spear out like an arrow. Whoosh! The tip of the spear was like a falling meteor flashing past. After sending the red-clothed young man away, the elder quickly turned around in the air, and a light green battle chi rolled up a majestic force, knocking back Lin Shen's soul-reaping spear. "Young master, run. I'll hold this kid back." Lin Shen's figure appeared in front of the old man like a ghost, his palm glowing with a blazing battle chi that was so hot that it could almost materialize. Battle Demon Fire King Seal. Boundless and majestic battle chi surged out like raging waves. The hemp-robed elder was even more astonished. With Lin Chen's strength, he was actually able to continuously display such terrifying battle skills. Thousand Layers Wind, Splitting Palm. You want to compete with me? War Demon Earth, Overturning Seal. This. Young hero, please spare. Spare your head. Battle Demon, Golden Meteor Seal. The Hempro Gold Man was turned into meat paste by Lin Chen's 3 King seals. He was an expert at the 4th layer of the spirit detection realm, but he didn't even have time to beg for mercy in Lin Chen's hands. When she saw the Blood Sect's young sect master and his personal steward being thrown in front of her by Lin Chen like garbage, Han Yan's red lips couldn't help but slightly open. Lin Chen's gaze fell on the crystal pendant hanging on Han Yan's chest, and he sighed from the bottom of his heart. So big. Han Yan was startled, and then her cheeks turned red. She spat out in shame and anger. Have you seen enough? Seeing the beauty's shame and anger, Lin Chen shook his head and laughed. He pointed at the former's pendant and said with a smile, Sorry, miss, I was talking about the pendant you're wearing. Only then did Han Yan realize that she had misunderstood. A charming blush appeared on her cold cheeks. She took off the crystal pendant on her chest and turned her face away. This is something my mother left me. If young hero wants it, Han Yan can give it to you. I will never forget the kindness of saving my life. Lin Chen took the pendant. Only he could see that the blue crystal inside the pendant had a ball of light revolving around it. His palm pressed against the crystal pendant, and the ball of light inside was absorbed by Lin Chen. Host has received 1,000 points of rune energy. The ball of light inside the crystal pendant could actually replenish Lin Chen's rune energy. Doesn't this mean that I can use a wave of slow runes as I please? Not bad at all, not bad at all. Lin Chen, who was secretly delighted, returned the crystal pendant to Han Yan. He even said righteously, Miss, you must be joking. How could I take someone else's belongings? Please take it back. I just love peace and don't want anyone to be bullied. The corner of the 2 tied-up people's mouths twitched. How could there be such a shameless person? Just now, when he killed the people of the Blood Sect, this kid didn't even blink his eyes. Benefactor is really a role model for my generation. Han Yan admires you. May I ask for Benefactor's name? Nameless Junior, Lin Chen. Lin Chen picked up the balls of light on the ground and waved his hand. The moment Lin Chen finished picking up all the balls of light, his cultivation had completely stepped into the peak of the 6th level of the Qi refining realm. His pure strength had also broken through to 3,955 tiger power. After the spirit-detecting elder of the Blood Sect was killed by Lin Chen in 3 moves, he dropped a purple treasure chest. Lin Chen picked it up and opened it out of curiosity. Host has obtained one of the incomplete chapters of the mysterious cultivation method Genesis, Holy Scripture. Note: the system is unable to determine the rank of this cultivation method. It is a spirit-type cultivation method. The host needs to collect the other 4 chapters of Genesis, Holy Scripture, to cultivate. Lin Chen had a dumbfounded look on his face. This was actually a secret spiritual cultivation manual, and the system was still unable to appraise its rank. Young hero Lin Chen. What should we do with the 2 of them? Han Yan pressed her sword against the blood-red, clothed young man's neck and gritted her teeth as she asked, If you dare to touch a single hair on young Master Qin's head, the entire Blood Sect in the Blood Sun City outside the mountain range will come out and hunt you down for eternity. The blood-red, clothed young man's old servant shouted in a hoarse voice. He used his family's power to threaten Lin Chen. Oh, the entire Blood Sect will come out? Lin Chen's eyes lit up as he walked in front of the 2 of them. Seeing that he heard his own sect's reaction, young Master Qin seemed to have regained his confidence as he sneered arrogantly. That's right. If I die, the entire Blood Sect, from my father to the 4 great elders, will come out. My Blood Sect has 2 battle soul stage experts. If you know what's good for you, then quickly let them go. Young hero Lin Chen, why don't we just let them go? The Blood Sect's power is not small. This Azure Sun Mountain range is their home ground for committing crimes. We can't fight them. Han Yin covered her wound as she approached Lin Shun and advised him in a low voice. Unexpectedly, Lin Shun actually smiled like a rose as he walked toward the two of them. He put his hand on young Master Qin's shoulder and said with a deep voice, "Young Master Qin, you can't lie to me." Pucci. As soon as he finished speaking, Lin Shen's palm hit young Master Qin's dantian, shattering his qi si and causing him to roll on the ground in pain. Han Yin was so shocked that her beautiful face turned pale. A trace of paleness appeared on her cold and elegant face. You crippled young Master Qin?" The old servant looked at Lin Shan in disbelief as he said with a smile, "Hurry up and take him back to call for help. You must call everyone from the blood sect. Remember, there must be a lot of people. I'll wait for you here. I want to challenge your blood sect alone." Looking at the young man's smiling face, the old servant's mouth opened so wide that an egg could fit inside. Crazy, crazy, crazy. A kid who hadn't even reached the 6th level of Qi refinement dared to challenge the entire blood sect alone. Chapter 17. Regardless of the consequences, the old servant picked up young Master Qin, who was howling in pain, and ran away. Han Yin saw this and wanted to chase after them to prevent future troubles. However, she found that her injuries were too serious and she couldn't use her agility skills. "Miss, don't move around when you're injured." Calmly, Lin Shin stuffed a medicinal pill into Han Yan's mouth. Then, he channeled a strand of the primordial water scripture into her body, helping her stabilize her injuries. "Young hero Lin Shun, why did you cripple young Master Qin? You'll bring a fatal disaster to yourself." No, I have to contact my junior sisters and call my sex." Young hero Lin Shun, what are you doing?" Han Yin saw that Lin Shun was casually setting up a bonfire. She didn't take it to heart. Lin Shun took out the leg of the flame leopard he had hunted and started to roast it. He smiled and waved his hand. "That kind of person is a scourge. Miss Han Yin, don't worry. I'll kill them no matter how many of them come. You can leave if you're afraid." Han Yin was about to speak again when a group of graceful figures appeared in the valley. "Han Yin, are you all right?" "Senior sister Han Yin, woo, I thought you weren't here anymore." Han Yin was overjoyed when her fellow disciples of the Yin Xia sect arrived. Blood Sun City, Blood Sect's headquarters. Today was the day that the Blood Sect expanded its power and formed an alliance with many evil sections. Black Demon Sect, Dark Soul Sect. The two big forces gathered at the Blood Sect's headquarters to discuss the alliance. A group of tyrannical figures sat in the hall of the headquarters. Sect leader, something happened to the young master. Something big happened. While the experts of the three forces were still discussing the matter of the alliance, an old servant ran into the hall in a hurry, gasping for breath. "Well, Elder Yong, can't you see that I'm talking to the two big sects? Why did you come in? What happened to that bastard?" The sect leader of the Blood Sect was a middle-aged man in his 40s. He had hawk-like eyes and a fierce face. He sat at the head of the hall and asked indifferently. The young master was crippled. More than a dozen assassins of the Blood Sect and Elder Tong Xian were killed. Bang! The Blood Sect's sect master shattered the beams and the floor of the hall, causing them to crack inch by inch. My son was crippled? What was going on? There is still someone in Blood Sun City who dares to touch my son? Headmaster, the young man in the LV5 Qi cultivation stage. We don't know where he came from, but his strength is not to be underestimated. Even Elder Tong Xian died in his hands after a few rounds. The old servant explained the situation briefly, and the expressions of the cultists from the three major sects changed drastically. Damn it, he dares to challenge the entire Blood Sect by himself. Is this brat trying to overturn the heavens? The Blood Sect's sectmaster's face twitched violently as he said with a cold voice, "Everyone, something unexpected happened today. We'll talk about the alliance another day. Wait for me to go meet this arrogant nameless junior. There's going to be a good show. Let's follow them and take a look." The sect master of the Dark Soul sect, a silver-robed old man, laughed strangely. Perhaps he's a disciple of some big sect who came here to gain experience. He doesn't know the immensity of heaven and earth. Provoking the blood sect won't end well. The sect master of the Black Demon sect, an evil man in his 30s, licked his lips. Gather all the people of the blood sect. Everyone above the Chi cultivation stage will follow me into the Azure Sun mountain range. I'd like to see which ignorant junior has come here to court death. The entire Blood Sun city was stirred up in an instant. What? He crippled the young lord of the blood sect and let him go? In the Half Moon Valley, more than 20 female disciples of the Yinxia sect were shocked as they looked at Lin Shun, who was wolfing down the barbecued meat. Even an ordinary battle soul stage warrior wouldn't dare to provoke the blood sect. Had this young man gone crazy? The sect master and the great elder of the blood sect were both battle soul stage warriors. There were also a few other spirit detecting stage elders who were extremely strong. There was almost no force within the radius of 10,000 miles that could contend with them alone. Young hero Lin Shun, you saved Han Yin and the others. I'm very grateful to you, but it's not the time to eat now. The sect master of the Yinxia sect, Xian Ningyu, was a beautiful woman in her 30s. Her tone was sincere and anxious as she spoke. I never do things that I'm not sure of. Don't worry, I'll be fine. Lin Shin carelessly wiped his mouth a few times. Then he grinned and said, he didn't seem to care about anything. He even started to sing. Sect master, what should we do? Han Yan's injuries were half healed. She asked anxiously from the side. There's nothing to do. Our Yinxia sect is a nameless small sect. But we'll repay the kindness of a drop of water with a gushing spring. Not to mention, you saved our lives. We'll stay here and help young hero Lin Shun. Xian Ningyu's gaze was firm. The other female disciples looked at each other. They also had the same firm conviction. Your Excellency crippled my beloved son, but you're still here eating barbecued meat and singing. You're really giving face to the blood sect. A fishy wind swept through the entire Half Moon Valley. More than 100 figures appeared in the surroundings. Pairs of murderous eyes stared at Lin Shun in the valley. You're overpraising me. My former teacher always said that I was a handsome guy full of surprises. This is normal. Calm down, calm down. Lin Shun calmly wiped his hands and stood up. He tiptoed, and the seven-star soul, seizing spear spun in his hand. The powerful aura that swept through the entire Half Moon Valley shrouded. It was frightening. The female disciples of the Yinxia sect huddled together and waited for the attack. Oh no, this time, it's not only the blood sect that's here. There are also the two big evil sects of the Blood Sun City, the Dark Soul sect and the Black Demon sect. Xian Ningyu's pretty face changed. The three big evil sects had gathered together. Even if she was at the battle soul stage, she might fall here today. There's so many young girls. Let's share them later. I want the youngest one. She looks so tender. I like her. Then I want the sect leader. She's in her 30s and can ride the clouds. I wonder what it's like to suck her blood. Many obscene and evil words lingered in the Half Moon Valley like the devil's laughter. This place instantly turned into hell. Xian Ningyu clenched her silver teeth. She was very clear that if the Yinxia sect fell into the hands of the three big evil sects, they would suffer a fate worse than death. Let's see who's going to die today. Lin Shun flicked his fingernails. A dragon's roar could be faintly heard in his pupils. His left arm flashed with a green light. I thought you were challenging the entire blood sect. I thought you had some kind of ambush. I didn't expect you to come alone with a group of girls. You're really bold. Under the moonlight, the group of people from the blood sect jumped into the Half Moon Valley. The leader of the blood sect, Qin Sha, looked at Lin Shin's relaxed and calm appearance. He couldn't help but feel angry. His palm rolled and a bloody murderous aura suddenly shot towards Lin Shun. With her demon hand, the wails and screams of countless dead souls resounded in the Half Moon Valley. The black demon hand, which was dozens of feet in size, rushed towards Lin Shun. The demonic wails alone were enough to make an ordinary war soul stage cultivator lose their minds. Qin Sha's attack was filled with murderous intent. Boom! The withered demon hand tore apart Lin Chen's afterimage. It shattered the space of 10 feet, but there was no trace of him. A LV6 Qi refining realm cultivator dodged my attack. Qin Sha was shocked. He suddenly looked 200 meters away. Lin Chen was looking at him with a mocking expression. Just as Qin Sha was about to attack again, Lin Chen suddenly raised his hand. Wait a minute. Seeing him raise his hand, the experts of the evil sects were shocked. Was this kid going to surrender? It seemed that he was just a stubborn guy. When I fight, I always pay attention to fairness, and F***king fairness. However, your current actions are F***king disrespectful to me. Fair. Level. Lin Chen pointed at all the people from the blood sect and said slowly. Chapter 18. What? Fair? Ha ha. Is this young man new to Jianghu? Do you want us to fight with you one by one in a fair and square way? Don't be like this. He is a genius. He grew up in a fair environment. So, we have to be fair when we fight. Ha ha ha. Is he a moron? Ha ha ha. Are young people so naive these days? Some warriors of the evil sects burst into laughter. Talking about fairness with the evil sects is like a naked girl talking with a pervert who hasn't touched a woman for 10 years on the bed. He must be out of his mind to mention the word fairness. Xianing Yu's palms are sweating. Is Prince Lin Chen really a flower in a greenhouse? Hasn't he figured out what is going on? Qin Sha is so angry that he laughs. He sneers, I would like to see what kind of fairness you want. I'm a man of strong principles. As I said before, I want to fight with the whole blood sect. So, I will fight with all of you. Not one of you can be left behind. One of your elders is not here yet. I will fight with him when he is here. I don't want others to say that I am not keeping my words and that I am bullying you. Lin Chen pats his chest confidently. The others thought that they didn't hear him clearly because of the thick wax in their ears. What the hell? A man in the training Qi state wants to fight with the whole blood sect alone. He insists to wait until everyone is here. And he says that he is afraid that others will say that he is bullying the blood sect? Who's the one bullying who? Is this guy out his mind? What the hell? Haha. Interesting. Interesting. I have lived for so many years. It is the first time for me to see such a weirdo among weirdos. But just now, he escaped from Qin Sha's withered demon hands. He is really good at fighting. Don't be ridiculous. Body movement and fighting capability are two different things. Didn't you see that all the blood sect members are here? Only one elder is left. Can this guy fly away? Many warriors of the evil sects don't know whether to laugh or cry. Some of them even cry because of laughter. There are weirdos every year. But this year, they are especially outstanding. Then, Lin Chen seriously tells the Yinxia sect members behind him, ladies, when they're all here, don't make a move. Remember, I'm a person who demands fairness. I'll fall out with whoever makes a move. Since we agreed on a one-on-one duel today, it's only a one-on-one duel. Seeing that he didn't know the immensity of heaven and earth and was making a solemn vow, the girls' faces turned pale. It's over. Is there something wrong with this young Master Lin Chen's brain? What nice fair. I want to see if he can still play any tricks today. Qin Sha sneered and asked an elder beside him, has the great elder set off yet? Sect Master, the great elder is following us closely. He should be here soon. The elder looked at Lin Chen with eyes full of ridicule, as if he was looking at a clown's final struggle. As soon as he finished speaking, an afterimage flashed within the half-moon valley like a ghost, and within the span of 10 breaths, he had already entered the blood sect's camp. Sect Master, what's going on? The person who came had white hair, a fierce face, and fierce eyes. He was emitting a murderous aura. He was the blood sect's second battle soul realm expert, the blood sect's great elder. Great elder, you've come at just the right time. Qin Sha patted him on the shoulder and then briefly described Lin Chen's previous performance. The latter shook his head and laughed. Nowadays, all kinds of freaks have appeared. This brat's movement technique is a bit strange, and his mental strength is also extraordinary. When we fight later, you and I will attack from both sides. I want him alive. I want to torture him in front of my son, make him wish he was dead, and raise him into a blood slave. Qin Sha instructed. The great elder coldly nodded his head. How about it, fair young man? Since everyone is here, it's time for us to witness your duel, right? Ha ha. Outside the half-moon valley, there were already people laughing blindly. Lin Chun nodded with satisfaction. Yes, the three great elders of the blood sect are all here. Very good. This is what I want. It can't be any more King fair. In a flash, Lin Chun pushed out both of his hands, and a grayish-white talisman descended from the sky, releasing an ancient divine might that could suppress the world. Even space seemed to have stopped. Host activated slow talisman. Energy consumption, 275 points. Everyone's expression suddenly became sluggish. This sudden scene had shocked everyone. The dozens of elite assassins and elders of the blood sect were even more frightened. They realized that their movements and even the circulation of their battle chi had become as slow as a turtle, several times slower than their normal state. Azure Dragon Bloodline Release. 100% of strength. Lin Chen's eyes revealed a fierce light. He released his Azure Dragon arms, and rays of the ancient Azure Dragon's dragon breath shot out from his dragon scales. His pure strength had broken through more than 20,000 tiger power. This young master will destroy you bastards. All of you die for me. Using the wind, thunder, fire steps to the extreme, Lin Chen's figure turned into a fiery light with the power of wind and thunder and attacked like lightning. Lin Chen charged into the crowd of the blood sect and violently smashed them. The Azure Dragon arms were like an unparalleled, fierce dragon that could destroy the world. The power pushed through mountains and stars, crushing everything in all directions. Bang, bang, bang. Every time he waved his Azure Dragon arms, several people would fall. All of this happened in the span of 1 or 2 breaths. The two elders at the 7th and 8th level of the Spirit Connection Realm, as well as the 1st and 2nd level of the Battle Soul Realm, Qin Sha and the Great Elder. They barely reacted and circulated their battle chi in an attempt to defend themselves. However, they were all smashed into smithereens by Lin Chen's fist, received 9,577 points of chi and blood, 5,883 points of cultivation essence, received 16,754 points of battle chi, 1,969 points of wood, 8,445 points of earth, 5,521 points of metal. Host received brass treasure chest. Purple radiant dark iron treasure chest. Opened purple radiant dark iron treasure chest. Received Part 2 of the Taishur Holy Scripture. Attribute light balls filled the sky, and all of them fell to the ground. Chi pierced through all directions and swept across all directions. A violent wind swept past. Only a large pool of blood was left in Half Moon Valley. Everyone from the evil sect was dumbfounded and shocked. Dead? Everyone from the blood sect was dead. Not even a complete corpse was left. Not only was it a one-on-one battle, but it was a complete instant kill. A Chi Refinement Realm cultivator instantly killed 10 Spirit Connection Realm cultivators, 2 Battle Soul Realm cultivators, and dozens of elite Chi Refinement Realm cultivators. All the female disciples of the Dawn Swallow sect covered their mouths with their teeth chattering. Xiaoning Yu's eyes lit up. Her delicate body trembled as she muttered to herself. Was that a spatial seal? Is young hero Lin Chun a Heaven Dipper Realm cultivator? How old is he? Under the moonlight, Lin Chen's body was bathed in blood. His lips curled into a confident smile, as if he could control the wind and clouds. At this moment, he didn't turn around to pick up the remaining attribute light balls. Instead, he suddenly looked at all the evil sect cultivators outside Half Moon Valley. Those who were swept by his gaze felt as if they had fallen into an ice cellar. The coldness was bone-piercing. Chapter 19. Scram. Lin Chen's casual words were like the judgment of a king of life and death, shocking the powerful cultivators of evil sect to the core. Too terrifying. He killed all the experts of the blood sect in one move. Run. Split up. If he goes back on his words and chases after us, we'll all die. This is really a one-on-one fight. This kid is pretending to be weak. Damn it. He's much more cunning than Old One and Four when they were young. The two heretical experts outside the Half Moon Valley ran away like crazy, hating their parents for not giving them 2 more legs. The female disciples of the Sparkle sect stared at the young man's back, their beautiful eyes full of splendor. He destroyed the entire heretical sect in one move and scared off the heretical experts who had dominated the Blood Sun City for 100 years with one word. How many people could have such a young demeanor? Lin Chun let out a sigh of relief. He had used the delaying talisman too much this time, so he had to wait for another 15 minutes before he could use it again. If these heretical experts swarmed him, the result wouldn't be so simple. He bent down and madly picked them up. There was a dazzling array of attribute light balls all over the ground. Seeing this, the female disciple of the Swallow Dawn sect was puzzled. Why was this young hero Lin Chen randomly grabbing at the air? This young hero Lin Chen's actions are really strange. I can't figure him out. Don't they say that experts are different from the rest? I think young hero Lin Chen is such a person. Little girls, have you all fallen in love with him? Che, senior sister, weren't you staring at him too? After the crisis was resolved, the girls started chatting happily. Host broke through to the 6th, 7th, and 8th level of Qi Refinement Realm. Lin Chun directly broke through 3 levels after destroying the Blood Sect and stepped into the 8th level of Qi Refinement Realm. Host has collected all the fragments of the Genesis Holy Scripture. They're stored in the system and can be cultivated at any time. Lin Chun had just finished picking up all the attribute light balls when the system screen popped up in front of him. Young hero Lin Chun, I didn't expect your background and strength to be so extraordinary. Today, Ningyu has broadened her horizons. I wonder where young hero Lin Chen learned from? Xian Ningyu comes forward and bows. This time, she speaks in a respectful tone, which is completely different from before. Lin Chen's previous display of power was enough to prove his extraordinary background. I have no teacher and no sect, drifting with the wind, relying on the waves all my life. I only wish to be a reckless arsonist. Lin Chen looked up at the sky at a 45-degree angle, melancholy and carefree. Arsonist? It means to set them on fire. I will ignite the flames of my handsomeness among all the girls in the world. Look, it's already burning quite vigorously over there. Lin Chen winks at the female disciples of the Yinxia school behind Xian Ningyu. They blush. Some of them are bold enough to throw flirtatious glances at him. Xian Ningyu is speechless. This kid showed the demeanor of a master a second ago, but in the next second, he becomes an arsonist. Master, why don't we invite Brother Lin Chen to join us? Anyway, young hero Lin Chen doesn't have any sect to bind him. The youngest disciple of the Yinxia school pulls Xian Ningyu's sleeves and acts like a spoiled child. No, the original intention of the Yinxia school is to unite the independence of female warriors and not to be the subordinates of men. If we let young hero Lin Chen join us, it will be a scandal. Xian Ningyu's expression immediately changes greatly. She scolds seriously. The girl in white immediately goes back to her disciple's side. Little girl, I won't join any sect. Besides, I like Master Xia's choice very much. Since ancient times, who said that women are inferior to men? Women also hold up half the sky. Lin Chen smiles casually. Xian Ningyu's eyes twinkle and become brighter. She murmurs to herself, women also hold up half the sky. Speaking of which, the blood sect should have a lot of property. If you Yinxia school don't mind, I can take you to their nest and raid it. Lin Chen's suggestion makes the girl's eyes brighten. Blood Sun City, the city is in a state of panic. The strongest overlord of the city, the Blood Sect, has been annihilated not long ago. This is a disaster that has never happened in hundreds of years, and it was done by a young man. In the headquarters of the Blood Sect, there is a huge mansion. Snatch it. This is a green rank secret manual. This silver dragon halberd is mine. Ha ha ha. Many people of the evil sect are fighting here. The sound of killing is so loud that it shakes the sky. They are snatching the remaining resources and property of the Blood Sect in the headquarters. Boom! The wall is smashed into pieces by the Battle Chi handprint. A group of slim figures and a young man in a silver robe suddenly appear in the mansion. Don't move. It is a robbery. Men stand on the left and women on the right. Women stand in the middle. Lin Chen's thunderous roar intimidated all the evil sect martial artists who were fighting over the treasures. Many of them recognized Lin Chen at first glance. It's him, the young man who challenged the evil sect alone. My heavens! With his wealth, could it be that he still cares about such insignificant things as the Blood Sect? Some people of the evil sect see that the situation is not good. They want to run away. Lin Chen decisively slapped them with his palm, making them half dead. Mother asterisk Kerr, don't you understand human language? This is a robbery. Spit out everything you have robbed. Lin Chen clapped his hands. Many people saw that two spirit-detecting experts were beaten half dead by this young man. They were so scared that they broke out in a cold sweat. They immediately chose to hand over their belongings to save their lives. Bang! The ground shook. Another group of people rushed into the headquarters of the Blood Sect. The two people in the lead are shouting, "Black Demon Sect, clear the place. All the trash, get out of here. Do you think you can touch the things of the Blood Sect? If you don't get out of here, I'll pull out your internal organs and turn them into magic crystals. I'd like to see which idiot dares to rob the Black Demon Sect." It's you? The two spirit-detecting 7th-stage warriors saw Lin Chen. They looked as if they had seen a ghost. Their legs went soft, and their teeth started to chatter. Lin Chen exposed a harmless smile. He turned around and said with a smile, "Big brother, what did you say?" The wind was too loud. "I didn't hear you. I'll give you a chance to reorganize your words." Damn it, how'd I meet this god of plague? The scene of Lin Chen annihilating the Blood Sect was still vivid in their minds. They had seen Lin Chen's methods. They were so scared that they couldn't move. The coldness in the young man's smile made the two men shudder. One of them knelt down and started to cry. "Young hero, young master. Handsome man. Just now I was just being rude. Please be magnanimous and let us go like we're dogs. Calling me handsome makes me feel very comfortable. But since I've met someone like you who likes to pull out people's internal organs, then I'll leave you here." Lin Chen's Qing dragon blood had been released. He had smashed the two men into pieces with his palm. Everyone was shocked by his decisive means. Many warriors of the Black Demon Sect couldn't suppress their fear as they saw Lin Chen's massacre. So, they quickly scattered in all directions. Lin Chen suddenly grasped his spear and launched his agility skill. Blood splashed in 100 steps. He didn't let anyone escape. Chapter 20. If the opponents were ordinary martial artists, then it would be fine. However, these were all evil martial artists. Their cultivation methods were extremely cruel and strange. Killing one of them was equivalent to saving 100 or even 1,000 people. Lin Chen did not have any psychological burden at all as he began his massacre. A large number of attribute light balls fell to the ground. Lin Chen collected them all with his wind thunder fire steps. When the rest of the evil martial artists saw this seemingly harmless young man act so decisively, they hurriedly handed over their belongings. Seeing the evil martial artists handing over their cultivation methods, heavenly treasures, and weapons, the female disciples of the Dawn Swallow sect were overjoyed. With this batch of resources, their Dawn Swallow sect would develop even faster. When the Dark Soul sect heard that Lin Chen had entered Blood Sun City, they thought that he was going to eliminate the root of the problem. They fled Blood Sun City in the middle of the night, leaving behind only a few basic disciples. Lin Shun gave most of the Blood Sect's resources to the Dawn Swallow sect. After all, he had already obtained the most important things, the rune energy in Han Yan's pendant and the Genesis Holy Scripture. Early morning, at the entrance of Blood Sun City. Big brother Lin Shun, are you really not coming with us? The white-clothed little girl hugged Lin Chen's thigh, her bright eyes flickering with reluctance. Little Ro, Big brother Lin Chun has an even more important mission to do. Apart from Big brother, no one else can do it. Lin Chun rubbed Ro's long black hair and chuckled. What mission is it? Can you tell Roa? The little girl asked innocently. Lin Chun raised his head 45 degrees and pretended to be depressed. There are millions of homeless girls in this world that need my help. As the saying goes, if I don't go to hell, who will? If being handsome is a sin, then I have already committed an unforgivable sin. Before Lin Chun could finish speaking, a series of bell-like laughter came from beside him. The girls of the Dawn Swallow sect were laughing so hard that they trembled. Little Ro only understood half of it. She even waved her little fist and cheered. Big brother Lin Chun, you must do your best. Even Lin Chun couldn't help but smile. This little girl was really cute. It's our honor to meet young hero Lin Chun. I hope we can meet again. Xiaoning Yu clasped her hands and says seriously. Lin Chun mounted the flood dragon horse that he had seized from the blood sect. Without even turning his head, he waved his hand and laughed out loud. Born in the mortal world, the winds and clouds change as soon as you enter the Jianghu. Fighting against the heavens is a source of endless joy. Only a few people have been able to do so throughout the ages. The young man galloped on his horse, leaving behind a back view that made the girls stop for a long time without leaving. 2 days later, Blood Sun City. The head of the Black Demon sect and the elders of the Dark Soul sect received the news that Lin Chun had left. So, they dared to return to the Blood Sun City 2 days later. The Dark Soul sect and the Black Demon sect had just returned to the city gate of the Blood Sun City. Damn it, this god of plague is finally gone. Luckily, we ran fast enough. You should be smart in the future. Our Black Demon sect won't be able to survive if we provoke that kind of young man. The two leaders of the evil sects were scolding their subordinates. But their subordinates looked at them with eyes full of fear and horror. Sect head behind you. Puchi. The sword chi pierced through the bodies of the two leaders of the evil sections. They knelt down on the ground. More than half of the condensed battle chi in their bodies have been crushed by the sword chi. They didn't even have the strength to resist. You are the Dark Soul sect, the Blood sect, and the Black Demon sect. These three evil sects specialize in extracting people's internal organs, sucking their blood for cultivation, and training their blood slaves. You're so easy to get. A group of scumbags who torment the common people have all gathered here. Two beautiful figures, one purple and one green, landed at the gate of the Blood Sun City. They look like fairies. War Soul Stage? 16 years old War Soul Stage? The two heretical sect leaders exclaimed at the same time. Just who were these two ladies? How could they reach the Battle Soul realm at the age of 16? What kind of monstrous talent was this? My two great aunts, who are you? You don't have the right to know who we are. Die. The woman in green's slender fingers turned into sharp swords. Wherever her slender fingers pointed, a group of people from the evil sects died on the spot. The evil sect's rogue cultivators near the city gate saw this scene and couldn't help but feel a chill in their hearts. They quickly fled. What's wrong with the young people these days? Why are they all so strong like monsters? Are they trying to kill us? After a quarter of an hour, the evil sects in the Blood Sun City were completely wiped out. They were either crippled or killed. In the center of the Blood Sun City, in the ruins of the Blood Sect's headquarters, two mysterious women looked up at a conspicuous banner in the ruins of the headquarters. For the first time, they were astonished. The most handsome man in the world. I, Lin, specialize in dealing with all kinds of disobedience. I don't need a paddle to fly in the sky or burrow into the ground. The two women were puzzled by this banner. They grabbed a rogue cultivator a few miles away and questioned him. "What's going on? Please, please don't kill me." That was left by Prince Lin Chin 2 days ago. The rogue cultivator who was caught was scared out of his wits. He quickly begged for mercy. Lin Chin, the mysterious woman wearing a purple veil, frowned slightly. She seemed to have heard this name before. "Why is the blood sect no longer around? Tell me the whole story and I'll let you go." The girl in green pretended to be fierce and cute. However, in the eyes of the rogue cultivator, she was like a demon threatening him. The rogue cultivator recalled with a frightened expression. That was 2 days ago. The rogue cultivator told them everything about Lin Chun. The two women looked at each other and showed curiosity for the first time. A 5th-level Qi refining realm martial artist killed everyone in the blood sect in one move. Interesting, back to Lin Chun. 5 days after leaving the Blood Sun City, he was accompanied by a flood dragon horse. He traveled thousands of miles in a day from the Azure Sun Mountain Range to the Wanling City of the Wasteland. The setting sun was as red as blood. On a wide road, Lin Chun urged his horse to gallop. He closed his eyes and let the flood dragon horse gallop. He opened the system and measured his attributes. Host, Lin Chun cultivation, 8th-level Qi refining realm maximum strength, 4,957 tiger power Qi and blood energy, 264, 594 battle Qi essence, 144,593 mental energy, 11, 588 cultivation method essence, 0 points. Mental cultivation method, chaotic 5 spirits technique, 14%, cultivation method, myriad thunder sword art, heavenly spirit pill transformation technique, true water origin technique, 13%, soul seizing spear manual, demonic war, 4 kings seal, Taishur holy scripture, 1%, owned items, secret manual 7-star soul, seizing spear bloodline, Azure dragon bloodline, 45 points, special rune, slow rune, level 1, rune energy 11, 75 points, elemental energy, fire 24481 points, earth 25752 points, wood 28215 points, metal 27825 points, water 35248 points. This Taishur holy scripture is really powerful. I've only cultivated it for 4 days, and my mental energy has increased by over 1,000 points. Lin Chun was overjoyed. Mental energy was the attribute that was the most difficult to increase. Now, he had a mysterious cultivation method that specialized in mental energy, but then Lin Chun felt a little distressed. The Taishur holy scripture required a lot of skill essence. He had obtained more than 40,000 skill essence from killing the blood sect and the other evil sections. He had used all of them to cultivate the Taishur holy scripture, but he had only reached 1% proficiency. But it also showed that the Taishur holy scripture was of an extremely high level. It was the highest level among all the cultivation methods that Lin Chun had. Even the system could not detect its level. Chapter 21. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. Let's take it one step at a time. Let's settle down in Wanling City and have a good rest. Lin Chun put away the system and spread out the map. Wanling City enjoyed a relatively high status in the desolate region because it was a huge city with a population of over 100 million. There were countless martial arts civilizations and ancient aristocratic families. When they arrived outside the City of Thousand Spirits, what came into their view was a giant that shocked the secular world. One of the 4 hegemons, more than a dozen city gates stood side by side. The city walls were hundreds of meters high, like a huge dragon lying down, majestic and magnificent. TSK. It said that there are experts above the Earth realm in Wanling City. It's true. Lin Chun rode his horse into the city. To enter the city, one had to go through 3 layers of checks and registration. Lin Chun spent a lot of effort before he could enter the city. Let's find a good place to settle down first. His stomach growled. Lin Chun saw that it was already late. He rode his horse and galloped on the streets. Just as he was about to look for a restaurant, he suddenly realized that in the west of the city, there was a purple gold light pillar that shot up into the sky and didn't dissipate. No martial artist in the city noticed this purple gold light pillar. It was as if it didn't exist at all. This is the light emitted by the attribute light ball. My goodness, what attribute light ball is this to emit such an intense light? Lin Chen's mouth was wide open. He didn't care that his stomach was rumbling with hunger. He turned his horse around and galloped in the direction of the purple gold light pillar. The vastness of Wanling City made Lin Chen secretly click his tongue. This flood dragon horse galloped for an hour before reaching the area where the purple gold light pillar was. Following the light pillar, Lin Chen arrived in front of a noble and vast mansion. The light pillar rose from the mansion and didn't dissipate for a long time. However, the entire mansion was heavily guarded. Lin Chen didn't even need to talk about entering. Even the entrance to the mansion was guarded by spirit-detecting realm experts. Damn it, I must get this precious attribute light ball. Lin Chen made up his mind and narrowed his eyes. As long as he could sneak into the mansion, it wouldn't be difficult for him to obtain the elemental light sphere. He settled the flood dragon horse in a nearby restaurant and changed into a brand new green robe. There were a few roulette wheels hanging on his waist and a flag in one hand. He looked like a scammer. Just as he finished dressing up, a noble white carriage passed by the entrance of the mansion. Lin Chen's eyes immediately lit up. The opportunity was here. A gorgeous and gentle woman in a light yellow dress walked down from the white carriage. Her skin was like cream, and her beautiful eyes were as bright as the stars. She had the temperament of a lady from a noble family, but there was also a kind of elegance that was ingrained in her bones. The most miraculous thing was her pair of beautiful eyes. Her bright eyes had a wisp of purple gold swirling around the edges of her pupils. It was extremely magical. Young lady, there's black mist lingering around your glabella. I've deduced that different misfortunes and tribulations have appeared on you and your family. Lin Chen leaned on his flag and walked towards the woman in a mysterious manner. Kid, don't move. Who are you? How dare you approach Miss Shangwan Bihan? Two tall guards of the 9th layer of the spirit detection realm immediately blocked in front of Lin Chen as they sternly shouted. Seeing this, Lin Chen let out a sigh. There were as many powerful cultivators as there were clouds in the 1,000 Spirit City. Even a 9th level spirit realm cultivator was a guard for someone else. One could imagine how powerful the martial arts here were. Don't be rough. I am a fortune teller, the divine mathematician Lin Chen. Friends from the underworld will give me face and call me Shurlaji. Side job, female arsonist. Lin Chen chuckled and pointed at his flag. A fortune teller was an extremely special profession in the 9 provinces. It was even rarer than an alchemist. A fortune teller could use their own methods to calculate the future of a certain person. They could deduce the fate of reincarnation and peek into the mysteries of heaven. The more powerful a fortune teller was, the more profound the things they could deduce. The young lady, Shangwan Bihan, slightly frowned. She looked at Lin Chen's flag and saw the words divine mathematician, female arsonist, and single king written on it. She couldn't help but smile. Perhaps this was another Jianghu swindler who had heard about their Shangwan family's misfortune and had come here to impersonate himself. The two of you, send him away. Remember, don't hurt him. This friend, I hope you won't casually pretend to be a fortune teller in the future. Bihan has never seen a fortune teller as young as you. After she finished speaking, Shangwan Bihan didn't even turn her head as she gracefully walked back to the mansion. Miss Shangwan Bihan's cultivation method has already reached the large success realm. But recently, have you felt that you haven't made any progress? At this time, Lin Chen suddenly spoke. Shangwan Bihan's footsteps suddenly stopped. The matter of her cultivation method reaching a bottleneck had only happened recently, and she had never mentioned it to anyone. Even the elders in the family didn't know. So how did he know? How did you know? Are you really a fortune teller? Shangwan Bihan's beautiful eyes flickered with a strange purple gold light, as if she wanted to see through Lin Chen. Lin Chen allowed the other party to examine him. He smiled slightly, appearing unfathomable, and continued speaking. If this great master doesn't take action, you'll die in half a month. If you don't believe me, you could try circulating your battle chi and pressing your fingers against your meridians, apertures, and acupoints. Shangwan Bihan was skeptical, but a wisp of light blue battle chi circulated on her fingertips and pressed it against her meridians, apertures, and acupoints behind her delicate shoulders. Up, Shangwan Bihan suddenly felt a violent surge of chi and blood attacking her heart. She immediately let go of her fingers, fear lingering in her heart. If she had pressed it again just now, the violent chi and blood might have even threatened her life. How can this be? Even the chief tier 4 alchemist master in Wanling City mentioned that my bone structure and aptitude are excellent, and my physique is innately excellent. How can there be a hidden danger in my body that threatens my life? Shock and astonishment appeared in Shangwan Bihan's beautiful eyes. She looked at Lin Shen again. This time, Lin Shen shook his head, sighed, and looked up at the sky at a 45-degree angle. He looked very much like a great master. Sigh, it seems that this great master had better leave. I originally wanted to do a good deed, but I didn't expect to be treated as a liar. After saying that, Lin Shen pretended to turn around and leave. Great Master Shirleji, please wait. Shangwan Bihan hurriedly asked him to stay. Lin Shen immediately turned around, lifted his collar, and coughed lightly. Why, miss? Are you willing to believe a liar like me? Great Master, you must be joking. It was Bihan who failed to recognize Mount Tai. Shangwan Bihan bowed slightly, and even used a respectful tone in her voice. Not many people in Wanling City received such treatment. Growl! Lin Shan was about to say a few more profound words to improve his posture when a disappointing hungry wolf's roar came from his stomach. Shangwan Bihan covered her mouth and chuckled, her beautiful eyes twinkling like autumn water. She said with a smile, "It seems that Great Master is still unable to avoid worldly customs. Do you want to go to the mansion and have a seat? Then please lead the way." Miss Shangwan. Lin Shen thickened his skin and coughed lightly. Although he said that he wanted her to lead the way, he actually walked in first. You're tuning into the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.